Ruuben. I got to grab a beer, but sir, we are live.
Awesome.
Jason, will you do me a favor? Will you grab me a beer so I don't have to immediately interrupt this podcast as we just fucking started? Well, sir, it's nice to meet you.
You as well.
It's been a pleasure hanging out with you so far for the last half hour, 45 minutes. It's tough to get to know somebody quickly.
Yeah.
Which is why we do like long form podcasts and why I also try not to do remote podcasts.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's kind of just impossible. And especially in this, what I call the age of authenticity, right? Because like there's so much, pretty much everything on the internet. Thank you, sir. Everything on the internet is bullshit.
Yeah,
like pretty much everything is even all the prank videos.
Oh yeah.
Like sure. It's all scripted, it's all rehearsed, it's all choreographed. And so, you know, I'm 40. How old are you?
I will be 36 next month.
Okay, so we're very we could have gone to high school together. That's important just for relating on certain topics. But my producer, one of my producers, my drum tech over there, Will, is only 20 years old. And my brother is a few years older than him, 23, 24, something like that. And those guys are friends. That's how I met Will. And I listen to these young kids quite a bit because they're the ones consuming a lot of the art that we all consume. But I feel like they matter more. Because they're the ones, when you capture the 16 to 24-year-old audience, they ride with you for a lifetime. So when you're 40 years old, I'm already in a market. Mm-hmm. I've already been targeted. I'm already a fan of ... I've already lived my life. I'm kind of set in my ways. Yeah. You got to get the young guys because they're the ones who will ride or die with you forever, right? Yeah. So I listen to them a lot, and they say the same fucking thing that I do, dude, is that all this shit, all internet content fucking sucks now because it's all fake, it's all scripted, it's all bullshit. And so that's why I say this is kind of the age of authenticity, and that's why we do a long-form podcast. Even now, when it is the death metal of podcasts, it would be so much better if we edited this down into the best version of the hour and did a bunch of clips and all that shit, which we do need to do more clips, but you get what I'm saying. You know where I'm going with this. So thank you for being here. It means a lot because it's not, you know, just a flyby thing where you just log in on your phone and hang out. It means a lot that you guys come down here, and I really appreciate it. I really genuinely admire what you do.
Thank you.
And so for people that don't know, you are a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And I may not have a lot of tattoos, but I'm quite opinionated about tattoo artists. I told you why before the podcast. It's just a trust factor. You know, it's such an important thing that if I'm going to pay somebody to tattoo me, like, do you remember that show on TLC with that Kat Von D?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Like, the people in that shop, that's like, if I'm going to do permanent work, it's going to be that level. And honestly, no bullshit. I think you're on that level, dude. I really do. I think you're the best. If you're not the best, I think you're one of the best tattoo artists in the state of Minnesota.
I appreciate it.
I genuinely believe that, dude. I've watched you and observed you in your art for a long time, a very long time. Because if you look at our DMs, I actually asked you to come on the podcast a while ago.
Yeah.
And it just timing wasn't right. I said, you know, we were like rebooting the podcast, and I was like, yeah. But you're a pretty impressive cat, dude. You're a pretty impressive cat. Before the podcast, we were talking about DMT and shit, though. And you said that's what one of the things that inspired you to travel the world. So we're gonna kind of start there, and then I want to eventually somehow, and I'll figure out how. Don't worry about it, but tie it back to how you got started in tattooing or being an artist at all. Because I find out most of you guys didn't just start off tattooing or being an artist to tattoo. Most of you guys were like, oh, I wanted to be a comic book guy, or I wanted to fucking be an animator or something like that. But so tell me about the DMT thing, because you asked me if I had done DMT, and I have, but I haven't had the full blast off experience. So you said you have, and I go, And I go, so you've done DMT? And you go, oh yeah, a lot. That's what inspired me to travel the world. So catch us up, explain what's going on here, and we'll dive in the middle and Tarantino this bitch from the back end.
Yeah, man. So I guess one day I was tattooing and I had a client bring me some DMT and was like, "Oh, you should try this." And I was like, "All right, cool, I'll try it." But I saved it for like, I don't know, like 3 months or so until it actually felt like I was in the like right mindset to do this and see what this was really about, because I've done it before plenty of times and had the same thing and wasn't all the way there. I get a little bit of the visuals, you know, you feel really meditative and that kind of thing. But yeah, anyways, I did it one day and I don't know, I get it, it's some powder. I don't really know what I'm doing with it, you know, but like I go on the internet and I'm trying to figure out the most way to conserve it and get like the most bang for the buck, because there really wasn't like a whole lot. So I didn't want to do it right away. So I ended up figuring out a way to like mix it into like a vape pen with like non e-cig, you know? So I was able to do that with like a really strong, high powered one.
I'm going to move this there we go.
Yeah, for sure. And then, yeah, so I sit down, like normally when I trip and stuff like that, like on acid or mushrooms, I like to listen to music, you know, obviously. And I go to press play and I was like, this music just isn't really doing it, you know. When I took a little tiny puff to set the setting, I was like, oh no, I need to turn this. So I just YouTube DMT music. It turns out it's just like frequencies, like, you know, just all this.
Almost like some weird meditative Indian fucking
sound bowl type shit. Yeah, exactly. And
just frequencies. I don't know why I know exactly what you're talking about, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So
I shouldn't know, but I do.
So yeah, man, I turned it on and I hit it a little bit more and I realized that those frequencies were really starting to like
almost like whale sounds, but in a different frequency range.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and it fluctuates through different ones and sends you on that journey itself, you know. But I did it and I swear that like enhanced whatever it was, because beforehand, like the regular music, I was like, oh no, that's not the right vibe, you know. So I did it. All right, so long story short, like, so before then, I guess I was like sort of like completely like, anytime anyone would say anything I'm going to say this entire time I'm here, before this time, I would have said, oh, this is bullshit, you're fucking nutty, you know, like, like a nutty motherfucker, you know, like, this is bullshit. So anyways, I go to fucking smoke this DMT, I hit the pen, I lay back, and then as I'm sitting back, I start like noticing like that it's kicking in.
Jason,
it goes all the way.
Curtain.
It goes all the way, and I hit it a few times, 3 times. It sends me off. Next thing you know,
pull it, open it. You're fine, dude.
Oh yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So the next thing you know, I guess I basically just I end up at this weird place, man, and it's extremely bright light, and it's like I'm seeing like.
So you did the full blast off?
Yeah, and I get all the way over through.
What did you do? Did you take 3 individual hits, or did you do the hyperventilation and take one incredible giant fucking?
No.
So you take one big one, then you big deep exhale, take another big one.
Yeah, for sure.
Take a third big one, and then on that third one. You like comfortably set everything down and chill, or are you like, do you have a buddy there? Are you gone? Because I've heard a bunch of different versions of this where some guys like they don't remember setting the pipe down or whatever.
Yeah, so with this way, it was really cranked up, you know, and I'm not used to like those digital vape pens at the time, so it was pretty crazy, and so it was a lot. And I just would do it, blow it out, wait a few seconds, and then hit it again. And then, like, I probably shouldn't have waited too much, but I wanted to make sure, like, the level where I was at, you know, I was a little bit nervous, you know?
Okay,
But anyways, I get through it. And then I hit it another 2 more times, blow through those out, and then just, like, it drops in my lap or something. I have no idea, because I couldn't remember,
fine.
You know?
Yeah, okay, so fine.
Sure.
So you lose track of the thing. Okay, what happens here? Because when I started to blast off, and I know I didn't fully blast off, because I did not go to this. I didn't go to any version of anything anybody's ever described. But I do remember thinking, oh, I just made a huge. And the last conscious, genuine thought was, I am so sorry, God. I should have listened. Because I thought I was dying. I thought I killed myself. I thought I was experiencing actual brain death, and I thought I was conscious of my brain death. Like, I literally thought I was dying, and I literally sat there and thought, and my wife is sitting next to me, my best friend, who's the best man at my wedding, is sitting on the other side of me, and my two neighbors are sitting on the other side of the table. And as I do this, I think to myself, oh, I just fucked up. And the last thoughts through my head were, I'm sorry, God. Like, I apologize to God. Like, I just killed myself. I just made the biggest mistake of my life. And obviously this is not true, but so what happens when you actually blast off?
Well, for a split second, yeah, you start to feel that same kind of, I did way too much, or I can't take this back now. I fucked up.
Yeah,
for sure, 100%. That's gonna happen. But I guess the best I could say is you just sort of like melt into it, sort of just end up like in this like comatose state. You can't really do much, really heavy in the breathing, sort of just shoots you out like a tunnel, and boom, and then it like pops like a membrane. And once you pop through the other side, you can sort of like hear it, and it's like you're no longer in this reality. It's like you can almost breathe the other air. But the other air, what it had me do is it like I could see like all around me, and I was like in like a galaxy, like exactly like a galaxy, and I could see in every direction all around, and I could like teleport at places like instantly. But it was all like pink and like really like pinkish color, not the way like it's ever really done. So
described,
yeah, for sure. So
because a lot of people talk about like a purple woman, and like, sorry, keep going.
Yeah, so it gets me through there. It sort of starts showing me then it starts to get me to like another thing, and it's all like, hey, we need to explain something to you. And I don't know what this who this is, but like this is just like telepathy, like, hey, this is the next part, like the next segment. And just sort of like it goes into the next part. And then it's showing me like that the sun is gonna come up.
Oh, hold on. So this first part where you're like bouncing from like universes or galaxies or whatever, you're not doing this. You're being brought
somehow. Yeah, just
you're like
around.
almost like some like Guardians of the Galaxy shit where like those octagons bounce up and you like, or that Doctor Strange thing where you're like going through different versions of reality, like some sort of metaverse bullshit.
Yeah.
But you're not guiding this. You're being brought there, correct?
Being shown. Yeah. Something is like,
and you're not you're not transported like a wormhole from here to there. You're brought through like stages.
Yeah.
Almost like you're being shown things along the way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And I just want to make sure I'm keeping up with you, bro. No. I don't want to skip past this because this is super interesting to me.
Cool. Yeah.
And I just really want to make sure like we really. Because we don't have to make a long story short in a long form podcast. That's kind of the whole point, right?
Yeah.
Like we can do this. So okay, keep going.
So basically, what happened was,
and you get to this group of people trying to tell you something.
Plus, now that you're getting that deep on it, looking back, I remember it was like almost at the same time that was happening. It was like simultaneously I was being shown other things and being like installed information, because like a download is like the whole fucking album at once, So it's like boop, done. So it's like that, and then I'm like, okay, I understood a bunch of like different stuff, and it's like, I don't know if it was past lives, parallel universe lives. I have no idea. I have no idea. But whatever it was, it had to do with me and this guy. But I forgot who this Ruuben was, because I completely forgot. I was like, oh shit, that guy. Like, I gotta go back like to this dude. Like I didn't want to do it. So then as soon as that happened, I get immersed into like a golden light that starts radiating purple. It's like golden white, and it's just pouring down on me like this warmness, and I start like crying, like, you're so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Whatever this is, this creative energy, this creative force, whatever it is, it was like just golden light, and I couldn't like help myself but to tear up. I don't know what to say. It was like the first time I ever felt like something be all like, you're okay. Don't ever worry about a thing again. You're completely good. I know, like, but this, and then it's like, no, you're good. It was the most reassuring, the warmest thing I ever felt. So then I'm like, holy fuck, what's going on? I'm like tearing. I'm like going, and it's all like, all right, you need to go back to like this dude again, you know? And I was like, all right, shit. So I come back. I'm chilling at my house, and then I realize I still had this pen, so I just hit it again. And I was like, oh, I want to go back. And it brought me back. And most people say like DMT only works like once in a day. But for some reason, this same day, I was able to keep doing this like a couple of times. And the more I did it, it started pulling me in like deeper and deeper and showing me more stuff, because I started having different intentions of what I wanted to see now and what I was trying to do. And I'm like, because I have questions. But I'm not getting answered anything like in a specific literal sense. I'm being showed shit that's like unveiling itself 5 years later, 6 years later, still, you know? And so the next time I hit it again, it pulls me back. I'm like, wow, I didn't think this was going to do it, you know? And I hit it again and it just like pulls it right back. So when I'm in that area, it starts to show me like images of the sun and the moon coming up and down. And it's like, no matter how pissed off you get, like the road, like it's going to just keep going. Like you need to just like chill, like don't like get caught up in anything, you know? And it's like harder than
like what the hippies used to say, go with the flow.
Yeah, definitely. So
like there's a reason these cliches have been invented for
sure. And then you start to realize this over a period of time, and you're like, oh, okay, there's actually like a deeper sense of something to this. It's not just as cheesy like little, you know, live, laugh, love, you know, type thing.
Right. Which all that is cheesy and sucks, but it's also kind of true.
For real.
Just live your life, laugh, and love people. There's a reason that shitty thing makes sense to so many girls who shop at Target. It's great wisdom. It's great wisdom. Seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
Live your life, laugh, and love people. It's fucking brilliant. But it's been co-opted by a lot of fucking suburban women who fucking suck at life, dude. You know? But keep going.
All right, so so it's showing me that like it's showing me all these different kind of things. I sort of feel like it, like I said, it showed me like my past life or like a life I was like living in, and then it started to pull me like deeper, like fade into like a room to where I could see sort of like an Alex Gray painting, sort of like a torus field, and it's like one entity type totem pole in front of me, and then it starts to like feel like something's like telepathically like you're in a waiting room and you're supposed to like sit and talk to this like receptionist.
I've heard about this waiting room. Yeah,
so,
I've heard about this.
So so like this phase lasts for a little bit, and then it would put me back into the next part. And the next part, I remember it pulled me into like a room that looked like an Indian temple, and it was a bunch of pillars, and I saw like realer than our reality right now, a guy with like 4 or 5 arms, and I could see like armbands in the center right here on the arms, and I can see them in hyper detail, and I can see the skin pores.
Did they have swastikas on them?
No.
Did they have Jewish stars on them?
No.
I'm a little sensitive to this topic, being a Jew. I'm just asking.
No.
I'm asking for a friend though.
No. So what I was gonna say is the way I interpreted it was because I couldn't see the face. The face kept hiding behind a pillar every time.
You got the fucking all-seeing eye on your fucking palm, dude.
So I got the other one. It's like balance. So the aspect of what I was getting at was that the this entity or whatever this was wouldn't show me its face, and I don't know why, but then it starts to pull me into seeing like Egyptian monuments and statues that are like 10, 20, 30, 40 feet tall.
Okay.
And they're in like hyper 3D. Like, and I've been to Egypt before this, but I didn't really give a shit. I was like, yeah, just a pile of rocks. I can care less. Like, I really could. Like, I don't care.
Okay.
Wow, whatever.
Okay. Put a pin in that. I want to get back to Egypt. Keep going.
Yeah. So I went into the trip, and I started seeing like the Sphinx and like this dude, and it sort of started to look like this kind of guy that I have tattooed on my arm, and that's where this like whole style came from. It was from that trip. But it started It started to like confirm some things I noticed when I was in Egypt before.
Okay.
And when I was sitting at the pyramid, you could see like some edges of like the plateau. There's
You can pull that if
Okay.
you want to lean back.
Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there you go.
So there's some parts of the plateau where you can sit and you can see that something cut the. There's like cuts, like saw cuts, you know, like on the sides. And I was like, man, well, who came in here with modern technology and just started cutting this up? Like, isn't that like, I don't know, but whatever. I'm not going to question it, you know? So I get there and I come, and what happens is I'm sorry, what was I was damn.
Saw cuts.
Oh yeah, so when I was there, I saw it, but that after the DMT trip, I went to sleep and I woke up and my TV was on and my YouTube was on and it was showing me the exact same saw cuts I saw like a year before.
No shit.
And this
Okay,
Egypt shit
yeah.
was playing, and it was like one of these Uncharted X guys. This guy named from Uncharted X, named
Yeah.
Ben. And it starts showing me, and I'm like, well, wow, like, why did I just see this? Why is this on my TV? What's going on? I'm not really too sure exactly what's up with any of this shit. You know, this is sort of like really weird coincidence kind of thing starting to go. So eventually, I decided to go, like, within a year later, I was like, I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to go see what's up. I'm going to go look at all
Again.
this shit. Yeah, with these eyes.
Because you had already been there.
Yeah,
Now, then you do this DMT thing.
yeah.
Then you see the YouTube thing.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck this. I'm going back.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta see it for myself. Okay.
Yeah. So when I get out there, that's when the shit starts to get really weird. And so yeah, basically I didn't really do too much DMT that really had like more like insightful things. I was sort of like always left with like cliffhangers like until I would go, and then things started to like happen in I guess more reality.
Did you do DMT while you were there again?
No, it's really hard. I wouldn't try to sneak that into
wouldn't try
that
to get
place.
that
Yeah,
in,
no. Actually, I had a friend of mine who tried to give me a hit at LSD when we were at the step pyramids, and he's like trying to hand it to me, and there's like tourist police sitting there with like machine guns and shit, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, like I don't want that, dude. Like, what the fuck? What agency do you work for? What the fuck?
even if everything is on the up and up, you don't want to do acid next to guys in guns with guns. Sorry.
100%.
Like it's just not the vibe you want, dude. It's just a bad energy. Like the frequency that comes off. I own guns. I'm a big gun guy. Don't get me wrong. I own an AR-15. I've got two shotguns. Like we got plenty of weapons. I'm not anti-gun. But I don't want to be anywhere near weapons when I'm tripping mushrooms. I don't want to see a weapon. I honestly, a butter knife is about all I want to look at, dude. Like, let's make some toast, bro. I don't want to see anything that could harm people when I'm tripping on anything, let alone LSD, dog. Nah, fuck that, man. Let's butter some toast, and that's about it, dude. And you can fuck all the way off with them weapons, dude. Anyways, keep going. Sorry, brother.
Yeah, man.
So he tries to give you this LSD. You're like,
yeah. I was like, no, dude, like that's cool.
So what starts clicking into place?
All right,
you start seeing some things that make sense more than they did the first time. Is kind of what you're getting.
Yeah. So I meet up with some people.
Things that raised your eyebrow once, but now you're going, oh, hold on.
Yeah.
That's what you're kind of getting at, right?
Yeah. So I met up with some people. I did a little bit of research of like who to get in contact with out there to like be pointed out and like shown some of these things. And when I get there, just one of the coincidences. So I this is just like a series of coincidences. I would just want to say is just really weird from my perspective. Couldn't find the place. We were walking around. We check into our hotel. We're like looking for this. It's like a little like a rock carving studio, you know, and they like sell like rocks that are carved, tourist things. And
like a cool one or like a shitty
like super
trap?
cool. Yeah, no, like super cool. Like down, like what their main focus
like not
is
a tourist trap.
Yeah, no, but it's just right in the tourist area.
It's not right where the cruise ships land, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. So I'm looking for it. We couldn't find it, and it's weird because earlier we took a picture of a cat. We saw a cat. We took a picture of it, and then we come back later, and then we meet up with, we call them, and then they say, hey, come meet us around the corner. And we meet up with them, and we walk back, and we open up, we find out that they're like literally right in front of our hotel. Like we open up the door, they're right, like how we are right now. That's where they were. That's why I couldn't
The
figure.
whole time.
Yeah, they were in the picture that we took of the cat.
Oh, shit.
And I was all like, shit. So I walk in there, and I see.
You used to keep walking around it, doing figure eights. You're like, why can't we find this place?
Yeah.
It's literally you've been running around it the whole time.
Yeah.
That's happened to me once or twice before.
Insane.
Actually,
yeah.
Especially
Goofy.
in foreign countries where they don't have the same level of Google mapping that we do.
Exactly.
So they're giving you a GPS pin, not like road directions. Here, take a right. Go. It's 200 feet to your right. You know, they don't do that. It's just like you're there. And you're like, where?
Yeah.
Where are we here? Like, I know exactly. That's happened in Jamaica a couple of times. Anyways, keep going. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep interrupting.
No, you're good, man. No
but
worries.
I'm having fun, dude.
Yeah. So, looking for the place.
All right, now, yeah, pull it. Yeah, there you go. There
Cool.
you go.
Yeah. So we find the place. We end
You're
up
doing
getting
great.
there.
You're doing great with that mic control.
We find the place, and yeah, man. So we get into them. They're like, "Hey, what do you want to see?" And they just start like showing me, like discussing options and stuff of like what's available, where can we go within the time frame, you know. Some things you need like special permissions to stay a little bit longer.
You're talking like at the sites.
Yeah, at
of
the
certain
sites.
things.
Yeah,
I've heard about this.
yeah.
And there's like a lot of bribery and some fucking corruption involved. And
yeah, for
you gotta
sure.
be careful which tourist guide you, because I've heard guys will like coerce you kind of forcefully, but like, oh no, you have to come this way, I'm going to bring you to this exclusive spot that nobody gets to go to.
100%.
And then they bring you to basically fucking nowhere, and then they're like, you owe me $40 or $400 or whatever it is, like, and then and sometimes there'll be guys there and they're like, yeah, you got to pay this money now. So you got to be very careful. Is that kind of what you're talking about here?
It could be, but
not in your experience.
It's not in my experience, but the real thing is like usually no one's gonna like rip you off that hard there. Maybe in like a place like a little bit more less with security like that. There's a lot of security in Egypt, and they're not gonna really try to like pull too much stuff on the tourists. They don't want to really like affect
And
the
when was
tourists
this,
too much.
just time period wise?
I've been going there off and on for 10 years now.
Okay,
so,
but most recently.
like a year and a half ago.
So you have
Almost 2 years.
zero fear as an American going to Egypt?
Yeah. No issues.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be so scared, dude. I talk so much shit, dude.
Yeah,
I talk so much shit. I'd be like, they're going to arrest me.
I'll be honest with you.
I'm so arrogant, and I talk so much shit. I'd be like, dude, they're going to arrest me when I land, bro. I'm not making it off the plane, dude. No, dude. Because I'm too outspoken about certain things.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, no, I
You
don't.
got balls, dude. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
So the big thing is like
I'm just really excited. This is a great story, dude. I'm fired up, dude.
Oh, we got plenty, man. We're just getting started.
We are just getting started.
We're just
dude.
getting
and
started.
I gotta piss again too, dude. So like, keep going until I gotta fucking really go, and then we'll fucking play a song and take a break. Oh yeah, I'll take a touch of that.
So the big thing is you want to find the people that are going to actually show you the right information. Because someone's like, most of the places they're going to indoctrinate you, and they're going to be like, man, this shit's like this old. Don't believe anybody else. But the problem is when you look at the older dynasties, they have the more precision work. They attribute it to them because of the precision of the work, not the box itself. You know, like the technology. Anyone can scribble a hieroglyph on something. You know what I mean? But it's scribbled, it's scratched. It doesn't match it.
So as what you're saying for the listeners who. I'm super up to date on this. I know I'm beat for beat. I know exactly. But for the people that don't, what he's saying is the older pyramids are better and more accurate. The newer dynasties that continued to build pyramids, they got shittier and shittier. And hopefully you got lucky enough to meet one of these people, but I've heard through some of the people that I talk to that there's writings that say the ancient Egyptians talk about the pyramids were there when they got there.
Yeah, Zep Tepi. That's it.
And they built the new pyramid on top of an older pyramid.
Okay.
So like there's like levels to this thing, right?
So
I'm not saying it's true, but it does line up with a lot of the
it does. A lot of it does.
what I'm saying is there's an anti-mainstream rhetoric, which is the anti-mainstream rhetoric says it's just simply older than 4,500 years. The mainstream rhetoric is 4,500 years old for the pyramids and Giza and all that shit. The anti-mainstream rhetoric is it's way older than that. There's no consensus. Some people say it's 12,000 years old. Some people say it might be 40,000 years old.
Yeah, yeah. So that's
so keep going.
Yeah, so that's the thing is like which narrative do you want to go through? And at first, I didn't really care, you know. But whatever I saw, and I saw them
when
in my
you're new,
DM.
why should you? Right?
Yeah,
you just want to like, tell me something.
Yeah,
let me learn something.
But I remember that when
actually, you should always be like that.
When I was there, my first time though on the tourist bus, because I just went on a day trip. So the real reason how I got there was because I was flying around from my friend in Finland, ended up in Thailand, stopped in Ukraine sometime, and then like met a girl on Tinder or something. We ended up going to Egypt because it was super cheap. It was like $300 and you go for like a week, and then resort and everything all inclusive. So I go and like we're like seeing the pyramids for like, I don't know, 2 hours, booking a flight, going in some like unmarked plane, flying across Egypt, you know, and landing in Cairo, and it's like whatever. And they're like, I don't know, crazy fucking experience, man. But so when I get on the bus, they're saying like, no matter who tells you like these pyramids are this old, and like I didn't care, but why are they telling me this? And it just stuck in my head. Why do they keep telling me this? Why do they keep? Because I don't care. I don't care. Like it was just a pile of rocks.
So
I just want to see hieroglyphics. Yeah, it was the tour guide that was funded through the resort, that was paid through the resort. Oh. So they hire out someone to take you on tours, little safaris and things. You know.
So what you're saying is, and I'm just trying to keep up. I'm just because we're going through this pretty quick here.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I'm understanding you right, what you're saying is you're going on these tours and you're just interested.
Yeah.
But
yeah, just as a tourist.
But this guy keeps saying they're 4,500 years old. They're 4,500 years old.
Yep.
And something's eating at you. And you're going, why does he, why is it so important to convince us it's 4,500 years old? That's what you're saying. Okay.
Exactly. 100%.
And then that leads you to do what? To think what?
Well, at that day, I didn't really think much of it.
This is before or after?
This was before the DMT.
Okay.
So then, but on the second time when
they planted a seed.
Yeah, they planted a seed that festered and grew a little bit later. Okay. So I was always like, why?
Good,
you know?
Good.
So when I get there, I talk to these people and they start showing me some things, and we go and we see some stuff, and I'm all like, wow, this is pretty crazy. Yeah, you know, big rocks and this. Everything's acoustically like tuned. So when you go into
but you had already done acid mushrooms before this.
Yeah.
But no DMT.
No DMT.
And you're probably pretty sober, if not 100% sober.
In Egypt.
While this is going down.
Yeah, 100%.
The very first time.
Yeah.
So there's no part of you at this time that goes, yep, aliens built this shit. There's no part of you. You're just listening.
Yeah,
you're just sucking down the rhetoric.
I was like, it's possible.
Okay,
like,
okay.
Yeah.
I'm understanding now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Had no care. Yeah. And then, so, yeah, I guess when I get there, I sort of, like, I guess one of the coincidences was I looked at the wall at the people that I was to meet after the DMT experience, and I go to get there and I introduce myself to them, and we figure some things out. We're just like looking at all the artwork that they've hand carved, because they're all work with stone. Most of them do, actually. And I'm sitting there looking, and I notice on the wall is their father, which is like one of the oldest like wisdom keepers from like in the indigenous sect of, you know, from that just goes like they've lived in front of the Sphinx for over 100, like it was buried in its like up to the neck, you know. But he's like shaking hands with the mayor in downtown Minneapolis, and it shows my building like in the background.
No way.
Yeah, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's where I live. Like, out of all the fucking news articles, that's the one. So he was there like in the 80s or 70s, like coming to like tell about the like wisdom and like the way of life and the things back in the 80s in Minneapolis.
That's so wild.
And then I find out that they actually made a day after him in Denver. Like I don't know.
So he's gone to other cities. He's had an impact in other cities.
They made
he might even be more important in other cities, but the one that happened to be hanging in that place that you went to at that time happened to be on your fucking block in your fucking city with your apartment building in the background.
Yeah.
See, this is the shit I'm talking about, bro. This is like, I'm not that surprised. I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. Like I'm surprised, but I'm not that surprised. So this greatly influences all of these things. All of these seeds are now there.
Yeah, to a degree. Yeah.
Through this DMT.
Still a lot
trip.
of skepticism. I'm a hardcore skeptic.
So what do you really
know?
think then? What do you think about the pyramids, the Sphinx, the age? Because the Sphinx has been moved.
To be honest with you,
what do you really? How old do you really think it is? Because I think it's just to clear the air. I think it's way older than 4,500 years. I don't know, but I do not think it is 4,500 years old. I think it is way older than that.
I think the Sphinx, without a doubt, because of the water erosion.
Yeah, the water.
And I've seen
erosion's
this in person, and if it's supposed to have been dry for so long, and the last time it was supposed to do that was whenever, then yeah. 100% the water erosion exists. You can go out in the desert and see what wind erosion looks like. It doesn't match up. It doesn't drip. It doesn't droop like that on the side back walls and stuff. It's not the same. The Sphinx temple, the
and
Sphinx
if you
is
trust
cool.
science, if you follow science, that's what they always say, follow the science. Until the science doesn't agree with the science, then they want to abandon the science. But if you follow the science and you look at the wind erosion versus the water erosion, the clear and obvious water erosion, like he just said, they are not the same, and it's very obvious which one is which. And then you trust the science and you do some fucking math and you look at the last time that place was a tropical rainforest and even had the chance.
Yeah.
And then do the math from there when it was built.
Yeah.
And then had the chance to erode.
Yeah.
It has to be way older older than 4,500 years. It's not rational that it's 40. It was built 4,500 years ago. It's not a rational argument. That's what I will say.
So, I got a lot of shit to
and
cover,
I haven't
man.
been there.
Just so you know, I got a lot of shit
Keep
to
going.
cover.
Let's keep going, dude.
Just so you know. So the pyramid, so that's the Sphinx. So next to the Sphinx, there's a place called the Valley Temple. This place, has like megalithic rocks, like huge 100-ton rocks that match the same exact like angles and cut corners that you would see in places like Machu Picchu in Peru, or you would see in India or in Cambodia. During a certain period of time, all these certain type of temples, they don't build like a brick here and a brick here. The brick goes around the corner.
It's a right angle brick.
Yeah, it's a right angle brick.
It's an actual cornerstone.
Yeah, exactly. So it holds into the place. So it locks.
That's what an actual cornerstone is, by the way, guys. Just what he's describing is the definition of an actual cornerstone. Now we call a cornerstone just the first corner that you build a building with. It's two bricks side by side at a 90-degree angle. What he's talking about, how they actually did that way back in the day, that was actually one stone carved out of one rock, and that was your cornerstone, and that's where everything started from.
So I got some pictures. Like I know you asked to like get some things so you could have it on thing, but the thing is like I can't show these pictures on the thing, but I can show you from my phone, and you can describe it or whatever.
Okay,
I just want to show you.
But legally you can't, because the Egyptian government will come after you?
I was told not to have these photos, you know, and like I got in trouble with these photos. So this right here is at this place. This is 3 100-ton blocks intersecting together, and they told me not to take it, but zoom in on that crack.
Holy shit.
It's not, it's fused. If you would say it's fused, because you can see how it warps like in between. Like there's pieces of one rock on the other side, on the other side.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was told no focus photos from an undercover person and to delete this off my phone.
Holy shit, dude.
3 100-ton rocks, and when you look at them from a distance, because it's so old, it looks like the gap is about 4 inches thick, but that's from the water erosion of it being flooded. Now when you go to the bottom of this, these people were so in tuned with dimensionals in the future and the way that this did, that they preserved certain rocks on the bottom part of the temple, and you can see how far everything would have been perfect, and it's a harder material, and you can see how far.
It's not a perfect line either. Like you can actually
exactly
see
where
it
it goes
move.
across. So how did you do it at that fine of a level? Exactly.
And that's not a crack.
No, it's not.
Because if it was a crack, it would move off. It would spider.
Yeah, man. 100%.
And I worked in machining for a long time, dude.
So you can know, we can go around a lot of stuff we see to today, and you can't see anything up to that precise.
I'm not an expert at machining, but I've seen enough work in the industry. That is insane.
It's red granite.
Some of these rocks in this, you can actually see were split. You can actually see the split in them, and it's still not a crack. Which means they welded.
I'll show you another one that's pretty fucking crazy.
Because there's a division right there. So that's not the same rock. So there was something on top of this. There's like mortar and plaster or something in here. Some version of that.
This is completely...
This is incredible, dude. I can't believe
this has no mortar. This has no plaster. This is nothing.
There's something in there though, because like this rock right here is like, no, it's not.
It's not. It's not.
It's to the side.
It's
of it.
Exactly. That's the thing.
Oh my god, I'm wrong, dude. They didn't split that rock. It moved right next to it.
Exactly. That's the intersection of three 100-ton blocks. No plaster. No nothing.
It does look almost welded,
doesn't it? I can show you another piece.
But there's no, like, unlike welding though, welding shows like a bead.
It's like, it's down to the granules though. It's like some are on one side and some are on the other, and you can tell, but the line is so fucking precise on both ways. It's, how is that even possible?
Show that to Jason off camera. That's fucking crazy, dude. So what he was showing me can't really be described with words. Other than it looks like I don't even know how, it looks like two perfectly mated pieces, like you machined two.
One of those rocks
and they do, it's not a perfect line. It moves, and it moves around certain rocks. Like they cut around certain chunks and then put them together.
This is how big it is. This rock is about the size of this wall.
Right.
And this is what it is. And then on the corner of that rock, it bends around the corner.
Oh, shit, really?
Yeah. And it interlocks in the back.
Oh, so they put a little lip on it.
Yeah, on that just that little bit. And
well, that could be really, really, really good mortar, because it is a slightly different shade. But
it's erosion.
I'll take your word for it. But
it
could be. It could be just in the sake of like just being 100% rational. That could be mortar, but that doesn't make a lot of sense because everything else is so exact, and you can actually kind of see it in the top. No, it is, because they do it the other way on these other bricks. So that one's going that way, that one's going that way. No, so it is. You can actually see it. So that one goes that way, this one goes that way. They interlock. And so that's just a shadow. It might have been mortared since then. Something might have degraded, and somebody might have repaired that at some point in time, because you can see that one's rotting almost. The bottom one's like almost gone, because the bottom one would go that way if you follow the pattern. So this is the thing.
So on the bottom of this temple, there's a rock. On the other side, right here from this gate, there's a gate inside the temple. There's a rock on the bottom. If they would have did all of this, they would have sanded it, and it would have been flush at one point in time.
Right.
Everything has water damage, so water would seep in between the cracks and make the cracks bigger over time. Right. But the
I say rot, it's erosion. Yeah, you're right.
So the brick on the bottom of it is about 2 inches out further. It's a black stone, and it's actually harder, so it degrades at a slower rate than the rest of the place. And they stuck that there purposely just so you can know how long it's been there. Because why else would they go through it, get this one rock from somewhere else that goes at a different thing? It's like a time stone, and it shows how much erosion has been there. And when you see it in person,
oh, thanks, bud.
It's weird to understand. So, and this is these are not the things that no one wants to talk about. And this is the thing is like, it's touchy. Like it's
not touchy for us,
but like
it's
for a lot of people,
touchy for anybody
you know,
not in America.
Yeah. So it's a.
So did you meet that dude who was on Rogan? Did you have a chance to do one of his tours?
No, I know who you're talking about though. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know him. I know him.
Zahat or whatever. Pull
Oh
up.
No, no. You're talking about Zaiwa. He's or what?
Yeah, that dude seems like he's full of shit.
Yeah.
No,
he's the mainstream media guy.
In the same sentence, he goes, "I am not a scientist. I listen to the scientists." Literally, at the end of that sentence, he goes, "No, I am a scientist. I know what I'm talking about." And then in the next paragraph, he turns around and goes, "I'm a scientist. I know what I'm talking about." And then Joe asks him a question. And he goes, No. I'm not a scientist. I listen to the science." And the guy, just pull up a picture. That guy.
Yeah,
okay.
No, yeah,
that
I don't know.
Yeah,
he's the mainstream guy.
That guy's full of shit.
He's the guy that they indoctrinate you with. So when you go to like see the obelisk, they make you watch like an hour and a half video, or like a 20-minute video probably, about like the.
They make you.
Yeah, they make you. You're not allowed to go in there. You have to sit in the room and then watch this.
And do the orientation.
Yeah, so the indoctrination. Exactly. Yeah. So
like a Disney ride.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just keep your hands and feet inside and don't, everything. So when it gets to this kind of stuff, like I'm about like, all right, so this stuff's like cool, but you start getting to places and you start dealing with sound, and once you start dealing with the frequencies, you start realizing that these DMT people and the people who made this music know something. For some reason, these like Egyptian like things are in my visions. I could care less about them, you know what I mean? And sphinxes and shit like that. I didn't like give a fuck, That's not that that's like woo-woo shit, in my opinion.
Sure.
At least that's what I thought. But now it's like, how is these things like showing up? And then when I go there, I start seeing all this kind of stuff. And now, how old do I think it is? I have no idea. I have no idea how old anything is. But I can tell you that what we see on the top is nothing. There's stuff on the bottom. And what they brought me to was the step pyramid. And that's supposedly the oldest pyramid. But for the oldest, it's built on another older megalithic site.
Right.
And then there's other little tombs and stuff that are there. And they're like really like sound resonant. You go, the whole thing will echo and vibrate to the point they'll be like, who did it? Stop that. So is the King's Chamber. I laid in the King's Chamber coffin and did that. I could hear the frequency echo, and it went back and forth, and it targeted exactly to my pineal gland. And everyone in there became like, "Oh, what the fuck was that?" And then I got out, and then they were like, "Oh, something's coming out of the fucking the coffin," And then the guy who was in charge comes up. I didn't know it was like 150,000 Egyptian pound fucking fine to lay in it or go in it. I just did it. I left my like scarf and like to like block the sun, and I left my sunglasses. I left everything there, and like. I just left because like he gave me like the craziest eye I've ever seen, And I was like, shit, I gotta get the fuck out of here right now. But it's so resonant that I can tell you right now, if you go in the pyramid and like this is a really big solid thing, you've worked in plenty of venues, how thick of a wall before you can't hear something.
Right.
Where you just people talking, you can hear it outside, it shakes it. They can go inside the pyramid. This thing's massive, and you can hear it outside from in the dead center.
And those things change if it's a solid wall versus if it's layers. Because soundproofing in modern day, it's layers with gaps of air. Like it's not a thick wall. It's not like just one thing they do. It's layers and gaps of air and air foam and fucking blah, 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 blah. You're preventing vibrations and shit. So to do any of this stuff with stone.
Yeah.
Is very impressive.
Tuned.
Like to just expand on what your point was, which is like being in venues and understanding how sound bounces. Like to do anything with stone and flat walls is insane. Like it's just counterintuitive to modern understanding of sound, but they were able to do things that made, like the catacombs. We were just joking about this at the last show that we played, guys. You guys brought up Will. It was you and Lance from Casanatra brought up Pink Floyd at Pompeii. And then my wife brought up, she goes, that reminds me, because we had that conversation. Then my wife is like, there's another version of that kind of more modern day. It's Queens of the Stone Age in the catacombs. Mm. And they were forced to bring in only acoustic instruments. And like they had to be very careful how they did things, because but they talked about how it was surprisingly dead. Because when you go into an environment like this, Alive in the Catacombs. And we just watched, her and I just watched the YouTube trailer for it. We're going to eventually try to catch this. But they talked about this in an interview, how when you go into a space like that, you expect it to be real shitty, echoey, bad sound, blah, 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 all the cliches. And it was the exact opposite. When you're actually in the room, was actually extremely dead, and they were shocked. Yeah, they were blown. Like, it doesn't make sense to modern day acoustics, and that's kind of what I feel like you're kind of getting at with that. Is like they were on some shit, dude. Like, they knew some shit. Yeah, it's not just happenstance that these things were. All of these things were deliberate.
Yeah. So. Yeah, around the Step Pyramid, we were there. That's some pretty cool stuff. So there's really big, like, deep wells, like that are just like, I don't know, like 60 feet deep, something like that. And when you go underneath the Step Pyramid, about 60 feet underneath there's a massive block, like a stone sarcophagus thing, but it's like just massive, like megalithic, like really big stones, like bigger than this table, and they're all making like one big thing, and no one really knows what it is or what's in there or whatever. But for some reason they built that on top of it, because that was down there before they did all of that. Right. And yeah, so it's pretty weird, because the bricks at that, they're smaller bricks, they're more like primitive, and the stuff that's dated, all the other stuff is like really well done, and like for some reason it just doesn't match up, that somehow this old pyramid, it's almost like they tried to make it. So there's some people that I know that have a theory that the Step Pyramid, which everyone says is the first one, is actually the last one. It was like trying to mimic it, to try to figure a way out to do it, and they were preserving whatever was underneath it. Now, to touch on whatever we were talking about with the sound, now there is this place. Now, this is really crazy, and you won't find a whole lot of places talking about this on the internet, and honestly, I really don't know what I should say, so I'm going to be really like, I'm not going to say exactly where it's at. I'm not going to say any of that stuff, but there is a place, and you can get to it, and I can say it off air or whatever. But when you go there is like a place, and it's like a hall outside, almost like a football field, and about, say it was like a hall, and each side had like 12 like chambers, and then say that something blew it up, and only just a couple of those chambers were still there. So, like, whatever this was already there, and it was blown up. So when we're going there, it's just like rubble, and it's just a couple little closets. And when you walk into the closet, you walk up to it, and there's nothing. You can stand right here, and you won't hear anything. But then they make you walk through this tiny little maze, and you still don't really hear anything. But then you see the closet, and it has like this little niche in it with like a thing. It was like a little cabinet, or like a medicine cabinet size. And once you walk into it, all of a sudden you can hear and feel within your body ultra sub frequencies that are beaming through the earth.
I'll get the fuck out.
Going whoom, 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 whoom. So check this out. So it's like beaming, and as soon as you step out, you can't feel it. You can't hear it. So that means whatever this is you can attribute that to 3,000 years, but for 3,000 years, it's still tuned. Because I recorded it. It's exactly 33 hertz. So I recorded it, brought it back to my hotel, and as I'm listening to it, someone knocked on my fucking door through my headphones, knocked on the door, and was like, "What's that sound?" And I was like, what do you mean? It must be like the shower. And they're like, no, what's that sound? They asked me, so I'm in Ableton, like rearranging it, repulsating it, and like making sure it's like lined up. I just
so you
got it
fuck with
fucking
music a
synced.
little
Yeah,
bit too,
yeah,
then.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I just got it like synced up and everything, and I was like, all right, cool. Fucking knock. The person I was with starts like tearing up, like, what the fuck? Why are they asking for the sounds? Like, oh shit, because they knew what we were just watching, and what I just got was recorded.
Just
this
through your headphones?
just through my headphones, and they came, and I've been in this hotel for like almost
so they
like
have
4
a
days.
monitor for this frequency.
Exactly. That's exactly what we ended up coming down the turn. Somehow
They
through
have
the
to.
digital.
There's-
So no, check this out.
Yeah,
It gets
yeah,
even
yeah.
worse.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I ask them. They say no. They say come to the front desk. I get ready to go to the front desk, and it's halfway there.
Did you email
No.
this sample to yourself?
Yeah.
Before you got out of it?
I
Okay,
got it.
okay.
Yeah, for sure. I got it. Don't worry. Yeah, I got it. So yeah, but no, check this out.
Fuck you, Egypt.
Yeah, so I got the motherfucker, and they
That's why you never come to your fucking country.
they what's that called? I go back to my computer, my entire Ableton. I've been doing this for like years, man. Completely
Gone.
wiped.
Gone.
Everything.
Yep.
Gone.
Yep. What do they call that? Not
Gone.
CMD. It's not called CMD. Fuck.
I got the sound recorded.
They can.
I show it
So
to you.
basically, what they do is they just got to get you away from your computer, because if you shut your computer down properly and shit, they can't really do it. But if it's on, they just basically remote log in and just wipe. So was your entire thing wiped, or just Ableton and everything you were doing in Ableton?
You can hear it. It was my entire everything. I lost all my projects and everything that was on my computer.
It sounds like the wind blowing out of this speaker.
Yeah, you need to plug it into a thing, but it should go whoom, whoom.
I
whoom,
hear it.
Whoom. Yeah, that's just all it is, but it's tuned to exactly 33 hertz apparently. We looked it up on
so they have to be monitoring that frequency.
something. Yeah, for
They're
sure.
running something where they,
Something.
because you don't need to hear. This is what, remember a few podcasts ago when I go, is it the volume or the frequency that damages your hearing? And they said the volume, and I go, that can't possibly be true. It's gotta, because you could play a dog whistle at the loudest fucking decibel volume possible, and if I don't hear it, it doesn't hurt my hearing. So it has to be the frequency, meaning theoretically you could monitor any sound wave, even coming through a computer, through a set of headphones, that isn't being audibly played into a room. And if you're monitoring, because you're the Gestapo in Egypt, which is basically what they are, you're going to have a monitoring device, especially in a hotel where a tourist is going to be from America. Oh my God, you would never let that person just have free reign. So they're going to have some sort of monitoring device finding that frequency. And they probably know it, because not only is a frequency a modulation, a variation, a pulse, but that thing had a pulse.
So the way that
So they can monitor those two patterns, and any version of that pops up, they can immediately go, it's happening here. And especially through triangulation, it's not very hard to figure that out.
So what's going on with it is it's actually fucking, the pulse is coming from the earth.
It's got to be coming from the ground.
Ran through water, tunnels, underground for
It's got to
7
be
miles
some sort of
at
magnetic
least.
wave.
Well, they say that some of the areas that back in the day they used to be able to like, so there's like pieces of rock that are like really, really hard to get, that you need to get like from the center of the ocean, apparently. And they're like, apparently they were able, there were places where you would lay down on, and then whoever was in charge at the time would go check and stick their head into the vibration and would be able to realign and tune the people to heal them through sound frequencies.
Like some fountain of youth shit.
Excuse me?
Like some fountain of youth shit.
To a degree, I would say probably, but I'm not really too sure. Maybe
It's basically where that myth probably was born from.
consciousness, alignment.
Oh,
Right.
of course, dude. You're never gonna find that, dude.
Yeah,
Get the
not on
fuck
Google.
out of here,
Yeah,
Will. You made him pull that up. You made Will
of
points at
course.
him. He goes, "He made me pull that." Of course, there's no way that
Yeah.
we're gonna Google whether Egypt fucking monitors 33 hertz. There's zero evidence of that. There's no way. The only an actual retard would allow that to be Googled. No, but there's no other explanation for it.
I don't know, man.
If you're playing it through headphones and they show up, ask you to leave your room, and you come back.
Within like a second, like I didn't even like fully leave it. Just and they're like, no, you're good.
Something, yeah. No.
Lost all of it.
Occam's razor. Simplest answer is the right one. They fucked you. They fucked you really quick.
Yeah.
They were just like, and they probably knew. They were probably watching your computer, going, "Oh, he's just making music." Still, nope, can't let it get out. Get him out of that room for a couple seconds. Boom, got it, done. Okay, cool.
So the thing is like to even like make it even weirder is like sent it to my brother right away. I was like, here, hold this. Email. He got it. He's like, bingo, got it. So then I started working with it. So he had it.
You're a smart
I just
man.
asked him recently, and I tried to redo it recently because this one's off sync. It's not perfectly done. I tried to pull that file in. It won't load into Ableton anymore. Any other wave format, shit. MP4, MP3, whatever that it takes, it will take it.
But the original
won't go.
Interesting.
It is a little weird. But yeah.
So okay.
So the thing is why is it such a big deal? How are they so smart, educated? Why would you do this? It had to have a purpose. What was the purpose?
It can't
what are you
just
doing
be the
this?
national mission or whatever that dude said on that podcast. It was so. This is the national pride, the national thing. He just kept saying like.
So the thing is when you start to look at a lot of these different places that are out in the Middle East, man, they got a lot of weird spots, man. There's a lot of weird shit in a lot of these places.
How long do you think it took to make them? The pyramids.
I could tell you that from the pyramids underneath it, all the way miles for probably underneath them, everything's connected by tunnels. So there's tunnels underneath them. And so what people need to understand is that there's really big blocks on the foundation that are like insanely big that we don't even know how big they are. But when you look at them, they're like a couple 100+ ton blocks that maybe like even 1,000-ton blocks that are like mind-boggling. And that's just the foundation, and they're interlocked. And when we're talking interlocked, they're like every single one is uniquely cut, put in a thing, precise. Obviously there's wear and tear now from thousands of years and whatever, but they'll make like a block that's like this big, a little one, and they'll put it in the middle of 5. Why?
Right.
Just to be all like, for the ones that look, and be all like, hey, here. See, the thing is like what it's led me to understand is that like there's a little bit of truth to like everything, you know, like to a degree of a lot of stuff that's like on the internet and the movies and all this like weird kind of shit, because or else these people wouldn't be messing with frequencies that are still specifically tuned and still have a type of I make like bass frequency, subwoofer, EDM music as well, so I understand how those frequencies and modulations and what they do, especially when on psychedelics, because I own huge subwoofers and I fucking take acid and sit in front of it and get fucked up, you know, so I know what it does in the visuals and the kind of the things it does to my brain and the consciousness that it's doing, and it's awakening certain parts of me. And
you can kind of visualize it when you see people put the sand on a speaker head, or a piece of paper above a speaker head, and then they switch the frequency and it changes patterns. Well, that has to be happening in your brain.
Exactly. Yeah.
With the literal fluid in your body, including the blood and all that other shit going on in your brain. Like, it has to affect you. It has to. Yeah. It's impossible 100%. It doesn't. It's just, an irrational argument that it doesn't have a direct effect on you.
100%.
Good or bad, because I know bass frequencies at loud volumes literally cause concussions, so
oh, for sure,
it's not always a good thing, but
yeah, no, definitely.
I get your point. Yeah, and I think it's obvious when you look at what is it called, seismatics? Yeah. When you see the visual representation of the sound wave with the sand thing,
exactly. Yeah.
Are you pulling that up? Are you pulling a visual of that up?
Yeah, seismatics.
Seismatics, something like that.
Yeah, CYMATICS. It makes a lot of complex
geometry. You don't even have to do a
geometry.
whole video, just a picture, so people can see what we're talking about. for the
A lot of
YouTube
complex
views.
geometry, and you can start to see these same kind
Yeah,
of
that
patterns
kinda
inside
shit.
of like old church windows. And you think about it, like
Yeah, that
organs,
kinda
and they
shit.
don't play organs anymore. Like in churches, all those old churches, they don't use those big organs anymore. What are organs? Organs are also the same thing. Organs in your body. What healing frequencies? Why don't we listen to those things? Same kind of type of things. That these are the same kind of patterns you see inside of them. And even when you look at other kind of old churches, man, a lot of this shit's repurposed. Man, our history is a fucking lie. All of it. I'll say it right now. I don't give a fuck. But it's real. It's there. Like, this is an architect of someone who understands things on a higher understanding of it. You don't just do this. Like, people who don't fucking understand things don't make complex geometric patterns and then put them together. That right there with the 13-month cycle too. That's even crazy as well. With the turtle, everything with the 28 days, it falls perfectly. Like
It is a little strange, isn't it?
It is. And when you look at these frequencies...
No, he's saying the one down to the left. That one.
Yeah, the way the turtle is, man. And so when you go, to Japan...
I've seen this. Explain this for people that don't know. I've heard this explained before. I don't remember it well enough, but I know what you're talking... Explain this for people that don't...
So if you take 365...
Click that picture and pull this up as he describes this.
If you take 365 and you divide it by
click that one.
28,
just click the one
you're going to get 13.
Right.
That means we'd have an equal... Every single month would be perfectly equal. Equally timed.
Click that picture.
If you go back and you look at, like...
There you go. Zoom in. There you go.
December, deck means fucking...
This.
Deck means 10, right? And then Nov means 9, but those are 11 and 12. So, and then what? Oct means 8, but it's 10. October, but it's 10. It's all fucked up. And when you go 365 days, divide that by 28, you're going to get 13 months. And if you start on April 1st, which is now April Fool's Day, if you start on that day, and that's the beginning of the new year, and you go all the way through it, every single thing, the lunar cycles, women's menstruation cycles, and everything will sync up within a 28-day cycle. All of these things all can be represented on the calendar on the back of a turtle. And when you look at the old megalithic structures that are like impossibly huge and hard to understand in Japan, they have massive motherfucking turtles. They built turtles. And there's other theses where they'll say that there's like, yeah. So there's other theses where they say that there's like four elephants on it. So those are like the 4 elephants. So those are the seasons. And then you get the months and then the days within it. And it's weird because there's 13 of the big tiles within the center of it. And then there's 28 around it. So it'd be the months. And then 28 around. And then the 4 elephants in some cultures would say that those would be the 4 seasons because they're fucking elephants. How can you ignore the seasons? You can't ignore them. They're there. They're fucking monstrous, you know? But the fucking turtle, the months and the days, they go by fucking slow. With the weight of the fucking turtles on it. So whatever, like the ancients, man, they knew what was up. All this shit, it makes too much sense just to be like not there, and it's too beautiful. The geometry's too even, man. Whatever, it's there. The creator, it did all of this stuff is perfect. I'm not saying aliens invented fucking turtles, but it's whoever made this, the simulation, the whole whatever you want to, everyone wants to look on it, and like.
Well, it gets really weird too when you jump into the moon shit.
The moon and then the menstrual cycles.
The moon
sync
is
up with
way
it.
crazier than the sun and all this other shit, which is, I think that's the gap between modern day understanding. Is we focus on the sun and the earth doing this, and that's how we calculate everything. Right, which it doesn't go back and forth, but you get what I'm saying. It spins. But they focused way more. All ancient cultures focused way more on the moon than we do.
So
they were obsessed with the moon. The moon mattered. In fact, the entire Jewish religion, the entire Jewish calendar, doesn't care about the sun. The whole thing's based on the moon. Everything is based on when the moon shows up. And when the moon goes away. Now, that might be slightly exaggerated because I'm not pretending to be a Jewish scholar, but I'm pretty fairly versed on this. But the moon cycles are more important.
I don't think that I don't think you're wrong about it at all. I think it's a really big thing, the moon, and according to a lot of like
for us, we don't seem to give a fuck.
but a lot of deeper
No, they don't worship the moon.
Yeah, of course they don't worship.
They don't worship the
but
moon.
It's an aspect. It's an aspect in deep.
Yeah, no, it says it right there in the second sentence. See, this is why I'm always like, dude, I feel like I'm always full of shit, but I'm never full of shit. Well, they don't worship the moon, but the next sentence right there. The Jewish calendar is fundamentally based on the lunar cycle. That's what I was trying to explain. They don't base it on the sun. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
the
of course.
Jewish culture, I think, is the second oldest legitimate written culture next to the Chinese. I think the Chinese have the oldest written culture, and then I think it's the Jewish culture. I think it goes in that order, which technically you would call the Sumerians older than the Jews, but that doesn't really exist anymore. We don't have like written record of it anymore. Whereas I think we have Chinese. I think the Chinese have written documents going back 5,000 years.
Yeah.
See if all that's true, Will. Because I always feel like I'm full of shit when I say stuff, but I'm almost never full of shit.
Google's one.
I'm often wrong, but never full of shit. I'm usually, even when I'm wrong, I'm usually like something planted that seed. You know what I mean? Like,
So
I don't just make shit up usually.
Well, the reason why they say that they go towards it, from my understanding of what I've accumulated from all the research, especially with the moon, is that, and how I said it
Dude,
based
let me
on
roll that.
the
Let me
mental.
roll that.
Sure, here, go ahead.
Let me roll that. I love rolling joints, dude.
So, yeah, hey, what up, dude? So the moon basically, if it's on that cycle, and then everything like the menstrual cycle and everything like that works in those 28-day increments, then it's gonna also have more of a pull with us in our cosmic timeline of like on a closer to us. I don't know how to explain it, but more so based on the emotions of humans for different times. I'm not saying that the distance from the moon is pulling on the brain, which is causing you to act a certain way, but they do say on fucking full moons, weird shit happens, like scientifically at like hospitals and shit like that. So
it is weird. It's weird. Like the moon's weird.
But emotions are the game to this reality. Once you can master your emotions, you can master anything, and you can move on and be able to actually be free and have real
once
liberation.
you understand the outside forces that are pulling on you, then you can start to behave in your own volition. But if you don't understand that something's pulling on you, it's hard for you to act autonomously.
Of course.
Because you don't understand magnetically, or tidally. If we're sticking with the metaphor, you're being pulled in. Because think about it. To describe this properly, the moon doesn't move the ocean in and out. The moon permanently pulls the ocean towards itself.
Yeah.
Then the Earth spins into that bulge where the ocean's being pulled. Hold on, Peanut. You can wait. I'm trying to say something. I will pull you up here. Come here. So, like, imagine the water being pulled towards the moon, right? Okay. And then the Earth spins into that. That's what's creating high and low tide.
Mm-hmm.
The ocean isn't doing this. The ocean is always pulled towards the moon.
Of course.
And then the Earth spins into that. Oh, God damn it. I forgot my point. Between my dog rolling this joint and trying to explain. Come here. Here. We're going to press pause while I get my dog in this chair. Come here, you old bitch. Come here. No, over here. Needs to be picked up, and she's whiny and bitchy. Very needy. Why were we talking about the... Oh, yeah. So, they seem to understand the significance to the moon, and they timed things to the moon. And like I said, I think the Chinese culture is the oldest one. Yeah, okay, so 4,000 years, and I think the only one older than that, like, still in existence, is Chinese. And I think it goes back 5,000, maybe even 6,000 years.
Hinduism's pretty old too. It goes back 5,000, 6,000.
Yeah,
7,000
you're probably
years
right.
as well.
Actually, that would make perfect sense.
The Bhagavad Gita was written in 5,000 years ago. So,
which is interesting because if you believe in human evolution and migration from Africa, there's no way that the Chinese and the Indians are the oldest.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, of course.
It's not possible.
Yeah, no, yeah,
right?
for sure. Yeah,
because they didn't go there first. They stopped
Yeah.
along the way, right? So, yeah, about 5,000 years old, and I think he's right. I think India is
similar
about
too.
the same. Yep. So, Egypt coming out of Africa along the Nile has to be older than all of them.
Yeah, 100%.
And I don't think that's up for dispute. I think it's just, I think people are a little, I don't know, man. What do you think's happening there? Why do you think people just want to just go, nope, they're 4,500 years old? What do you think's happening?
So
there?
when you understand some sort of things and you look at some things, there's a connection between the layout of the way that these buildings are built around the world. So if you look at the same signature of the way the buildings are built in India as well as in Cambodia, and like all of this is before internet, and it's so similar. And like there's like nubs on the like on these like polygonal blocks, they have nubs. And like, why are these nubs there? Like, none of these things make sense. So these are like little kind of like, if you used a nail gun, you would sort of see the imprint on the wood from like the boom boom that pushed the nail gun up against it, or a little bit too much with the screw, and you'd be able to tell like, hey, it was a screw. But some of these things, what are the nubs for? And it's everywhere. It's on the outside of the pyramids. It's on the things in Machu Picchu, which are way high in the mountains. It's in Cambodia, and it's in India. And so that means whatever it was, they didn't have internet. They were all somehow able to understand somehow how this was done. And you can go there and look at it yourself and see all these type of things. And it doesn't make no sense. But, yeah. Go ahead, spark it up, man. You do the honors.
That's all you, brother.
Oh.
I rolled it.
Yeah.
That is you gotta, dude, that's a cigarette.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Thank you. I appreciate it.
The absolute perfection of that joint, dude. I still got it, baby. I've always prided myself on rolling some of the best joints in the world. Like cigarette quality, like it's, you could put that motherfucker on a lathe. That's how good my joints are, bro.
And laser are a huge thing too. And when you start to get to some of the ceramics, India goes back to like as close to like 8,000 years old. So when you get into
and they can't be the oldest, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, there's something older than all of that because they built all their things on top of other structures.
Exactly.
And this keeps going. So there was this place where in Egypt that was, I don't know where it was, to be honest with you, but it's now a church.
Yeah, Sumer. Like I said, we consider that the oldest one, but if you look, that's only 4,500 to 1,900 BC.
That's nothing.
That's less than what we were just talking about with India.
Yeah.
So Sumer doesn't even, like, this is what bothers me, because Sumer doesn't even hold up to what we think India is. So anyways, dude. So how did you get into world travel? Because I thought you said at the beginning of this conversation, you said doing the DMT got you into world travel, but you were already traveling the world before this.
So I guess that's where I was like really like traveling and like looking at things and like taking things in with like a different eye. But I was traveling since like 2014, traveling around the world tattooing. I'd go to like places like Finland, UK.
So that's what brought you across the world, was tattooing.
Yeah,
because you're just that fucking dope.
Yes, yeah, to a degree, yeah, man. So yeah, I just I always wanted to go, so I just back in the Facebook days, I just sent a bunch of messages one day and like to some shops and told them, I was like, yo, I want to go out there, and they like. A lot of them said no, but enough of them said yes, and I met a lot of really cool people. And
I will say and I'm not saying you were poor, I grew up poor, but I will say one of the easiest ways to travel the world is be dope at something and get invited to places to do shit. Like be great at music and you'll go on tour. Honestly, just touring the country. Most people have only traveled to like a state or two. You're born in one place, you go like one state over. That's most people. I still haven't hit all 50 states. I'm damn close, but I still haven't hit all 50 states. But just traveling this country will change your life.
Oh, yeah.
Traveling to other countries enriches your soul. Do you agree with
I
that?
agree, 100%. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, America's awesome because like America is like 4 different countries almost to a
Oh,
degree on different
it's
parts.
50. It's
Even more.
literally
Yeah,
50
so
different countries.
it's awesome. I
Now,
love New Mexico.
now I do agree it's basically 4 because the Midwest is kind of the Midwest, right? Like
Yeah,
Iowa's Iowa, but it's kind of the same as Minnesota. But it's literally 50 different countries because fuck Wisconsin. That's why, dude. Like, dude, fuck the Packers, fuck the Bucks, fuck the Brewers. Dude, Chicago can suck a dick, dude. No, but it kind of is like that, though. Florida is different than Georgia. North Carolina is very different than South Carolina.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Very different. They are Carolina, like they share a sports team, but even like climate wise, just that tiny little shift in longitude. Like South Carolina has tropical beaches that North Carolina cannot maintain. Like it's kind of impressive. Like it's a really interesting country, but it's kind of always, this is what I was trying to say. It's kind of always still America, like my rights never change. Like it doesn't matter where I go, Arizona, Texas. In Texas, they call me a commie. They do. I shit you not. In Texas, they call me a commie because I'm too liberal. Up here, I'm a right-wing extremist, which is hilarious because I'm neither of those things. But it's kind of always the same. Like I still kind of always have my constitutional rights. But I've been to Jamaica, I've been to Canada, and just those 2 places, which are barely outside of this country, will quickly show you this isn't America. There's a different culture. There's different laws. You do not have your constitutionally protected rights outside of here. What is that like the farther you get away from America?
Well, depending, I
do
guess.
You appreciate them more? Or do you,
it depends.
Or is it the opposite? Or do you not notice that you don't have them?
Well, so in some places it's cooler because you can go there and like the healthcare is like so cheap and everything is like you can go there and you can get everything for like $20, all the prescriptions you need for whatever, for like in Finland or something like that. Yeah.
Right.
So that's cool. But like, yeah, I mean, to a degree, like smoking weed in Thailand back in the day before they legalized it like is sketchy because like you'd get in trouble, and if you're on a scooter and they pull you over and you get weed,
my cousin lives in Thailand now.
Yeah, Thailand's cool, man. I like Thailand.
I'm definitely taking the wife there soon.
What part?
I don't remember. I'm basically we're gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna do like 2 full weeks. Cool. We're going to do the whole thing, and we're just going to listen to him because he lives there.
Yeah.
He's an American. He's been there for 10 years now. Like, he knows what he's talking about. I'll hit you up. I got a couple other buddies for, like, when me and the boys want to go out, where do we go?
You'll find plenty.
That's what I heard.
You don't need to hit anyone up. They'll come to you, man. You don't got to worry about shit.
No, but there's a couple people I want to kind of go there with.
Yeah.
Like I want to go there with the wife, but also some bros, because my wife is going to want to hang out with Tony and his wife and like experience that thing. And then when we all want to go out and gamble and do shit, like I want a couple bros. Like I don't want to just go out with Tony. Tony gets too drunk. Like he's got to be able to take a cab back home and me not worry about him and still feel like very comfortable being in a foreign country all by myself. I don't like doing that by myself. I'm not big enough for that shit. If I was your size, dude, with my ability to fight, I would be totally fine in any foreign country across the globe. But when you're fucking barely 6 feet tall now, I was 6 feet. I lost 1.5 inches due to compression. That's real though. I really was 6 feet. I'm barely 5'11" now. I'm basically 5'10.5". It's depressing. And I only weigh 175 pounds. It's not a great position to be in. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be a single man in a foreign country. Trust me. It doesn't usually end up very well for us.
I loved it.
Being all by yourself?
Yeah, man.
You never.
I
Well,
loved it, dude.
but you're there. You're not there as a tourist though. Like
And
You went
everyone
there
gets stuck
doing
on the
shit.
tourist shit, man, because
You
they're too
went there
scared to go,
doing
like,
shit, though.
yeah.
You
that's
went
the
there
thing.
doing shit, though.
Of
So
course,
you
yeah.
immediately ingratiated yourself with the community. So it's a lot
That's
different.
key. I think people should do that more often, all the time. I think
It's hard though when
yeah.
you're an artist, and that's what I said earlier. When you're an artist, if you're a musician, you go on tour. You're the rock star.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get robbed. Like everybody's there, like to vibe with you. They're gonna show you the best of their town. You see what I'm saying? Like you go there to tattoo. You're doing a thing. You're networking with tattoo artists. You're going to a shop.
Yeah.
You're immediately ingratiated with the community. When you're a fucking random ass tourist, you gotta be real fucking careful.
It seems like that, but man, I'll tell you, man. I had one sketchy time happen, dude. I had someone hit me up on fucking Facebook, asking me to go to the Milano tattoo convention in Italy, and they were like, "Yo, you can come work at my studio. I got a studio out here in Spain. I'm just setting it up. And, like, here's the place. It's empty. In about 2 weeks, we're gonna build it out. And then when you're done from the convention, you come back and hang out, and then we'll start working." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I flew out there. It was like weird interactions. I had all these like weird, like, oh man, I feel like this is just some awkward shit. And sure as shit, when I get up there, it's like this person's like trying to take everyone's luggage, and they like was stealing a bunch of shit. And so anyways, like, I'm in this apartment. I go outside barely ever, and in this city in Spain, all the fucking buildings are really fucking big, and there's like narrow pathways just going around and around like this, so you can't see any sense of direction. Everything's in Spanish. Like, no one will talk to you in English. It's fucking weird. So I go out, they like smoke a joint, dude, and someone pickpockets my phone when I light a fucking cigarette for him.
That's
Gets
the shit
my
I'm
fucking
talking
phone.
about.
So yeah,
That's the
so
shit
then
I'm
I end up like, what the fuck happened? I have absolutely nothing. I get back into the thing. I find out someone starts banging on the motherfucking door. So I'm like thinking some Scarface shit, some motherfucker, you know, and he's like, open the fucking door. Like, I own this fucking place. You're not supposed to be in there. You haven't paid rent for fucking this long, blah, 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 blah. All the stuff in there is fucking stolen. So I go grab this really big fucking knife. I'm like, just gonna fucking stab the shit out of this motherfucker, you know?
Yeah, be careful, bro. You're not in America, dude. It's not self-defense in some places.
But so, like, I stand behind this motherfucker, and this dude, like, opens the door. He has someone else, and, like, we, like, both, like, stick our hands out, you know, and, like, figure it out. And he's all like, no, I'm just a landlord. So we find out that the person who got me out there was just trying to get, like, a bunch of tattoo artists together. It turns out she ended up, like, trying to take a bunch of, like, people's shit and was, like, to lock them in and lock them out and then take it and have, like, auction off all this shit or something. I have really no idea what the main catch was.
Sure, yeah.
But the thing is like 6 months later, maybe a year later, someone hit me up and was all like, yo, did you know this chick or whatever? And I was like, yeah. She's like, yeah, she fucking got me for 100 fucking grand because she, like, switched to fucking, yeah. She switched to motherfucking, to, like, try to, like, hustle, like, DJs for, like, festivals. And she got this one dude to, like, help be like, yo, give me the credit card information and I'll just help you book the shit for you, because he didn't really understand. And then he hit me up, and I'm like, well, if you knew my story, how the fuck did you, like, what the fuck? Did you find out afterwards? Crazy shit. 100 grand. Messages me. Yeah. Nutty shit.
I've only heard one worse than that. And I don't even want to tell the full story, because it's a well-known story in the Minneapolis rock and metal scene. But basically, there was a guy, we'll call him Bob. And Bob was a prominent booker in the Minneapolis local scene, both for local bands, and he was great, man. He gave a lot of local bands opportunities to open for national acts, helped build showcases and get a lot of local bands opportunities to get record deals. He brought national acts into town and played at these clubs that were accessible. It was awesome. And then one day, Bob disappeared with 300 grand to somebody else's money. And as far as I know, still to this day, is wanted by the FBI and has never been found.
Oh, shit.
And I and a lot of people loved Bob. Loved Bob.
Damn.
Helped a lot of us. Taught a lot of us.
Crazy.
He even owes some of us money. Some of us are part of that 300 grand. And some of us still love him anyways. We don't know why he dipped. But some of us think if he dipped, he had a good reason. And we're just begging and hoping it's not CP or some weird shit. You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. We don't know. But he fucked a lot of people over, man. He hurt a lot of people. He ruined a lot of stuff. And I don't think there's any bullshit or getting our ways around that. But I'm not going to defend him or justify what he did, ever. I will condemn what he did. But I will say he never fucked me. You know? Like he always gave me the better end of the deal. When we did business, he never fucked me. I never got the short end of the stick. What are you complaining about, honey? You're getting so old. He was good to everybody I knew, except for one person, and it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. He really fucked this one guy really bad, dude. But it is what it is. He never did wrong to me, but what he did wasn't right. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, shit happens.
But damn, man, getting you for a cell phone versus getting somebody else for $100,000 that's a step up in your con game. I'm so nervous about going overseas. My wife wants to go to Europe so bad because she grew up in Europe. Well, she didn't grow up in Europe, but she lived in Europe. I ain't got no rights over there, man. I talk a lot of shit, bro. I talk a lot of shit, dude. I don't know, man.
Yeah. It's definitely a little bit different. Different places.
You started your initial world traveling because you were doing tattooing.
Yeah.
And you were lucky enough to be able to go do that across the world.
Yeah.
Then you did some DMT, and that that blew that up.
Yeah, I started like during the whole COVID thing, during that time, I was in Norway, and I was going through driving around and seeing a lot of the rune stones and the megalithic stuff, and it was what's the point of all of this shit, you know? It just doesn't make sense.
They're not doing this for shits and giggles.
Yeah. The rocks just come from a really far place, man. Too many of them around the world are the same thing, like a dolomite. Just made no sense. But there's really cool shit here in America too, like in Montana.
But we're not good at doing shit now. Excuse me. We're not good at doing shit or moving shit now.
For sure.
We have a hard time building a highway in California or a high speed. What is it? What did they build? 1.5 miles of their high speed rail? $40 billion. It's very hard to do serious projects. We're not very good at moving fucking the windmills, the blades, to get those up for farming up into high places. We got to do some crazy shit. We're not very good at that. We get it done, but we're not very fast. We're not very good at moving a 20-ton oh my god, I can't talk. A 20-ton brick. We're not very good at doing that right now.
Moving it's one thing, but you got to cut it first.
Well, but I'm just saying what I know.
Yeah.
What I know is we're not very efficient at moving something that's 20 tons right fucking now.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not saying we can't do it, but we're not very good at it. We're not very efficient, especially over mountains. Yeah. Onto a ship, off of a ship, without sinking that ship, without capsizing that ship, without losing that fucking rock. We're not very good at those things now. We're just not. I'm not saying it can't be done, but it's not like we're quick at it. So just imagine the time without what we have. right? So you're talking about something that's allegedly a primitive culture. How long does it take them to do the same thing? Just one 20-ton stone. How long does it take us to move that? How long? 500 miles? What's the distance?
Exactly from where it's quarried to the pyramids, exactly 365 miles.
365 miles. That's going to take us quite a while to just get one of them from A to B. How do you do that without modern technology? How long does that take? I don't care how you do it, but how long does it take? And then how many of those are? And let's just start doing that math. How long does it take to actually build the pyramids? This is an irrational question.
I have no idea.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but they say the official story is, what is it? Like within this one dude's lifetime?
27 years or something like that.
Yeah, what's the official story? How long did it take? Okay, so they say moving a 20-ton brick 365 miles by truck will likely take around 2 days. This is just AI, though. I don't know if this is true.
And that's just 20 ton. They got 150 ton.
Sure, right? So how long do they say... How long is the official story? How long did it take to build the pyramids?
I think something like they said, like 22 years, 27 years, something like that, maybe. I don't know.
20 to 30 years, my ass.
That's like how many bricks a minute? There's 20 million bricks apparently, or how many? There's 2 million, so 2 million blocks. How many minutes is that? Like, how many do you got to move per minute?
It's an irrational equation, because with everything we have now, with the bureaucracy and everything we have, right? Now I get it. Egypt was a dictatorship. It was probably way more efficient. I get it. But still, they allegedly don't have any modern day technology.
Yeah, who cares about politics of it or any of that aspect of it, but just the feat of it alone. And when you look at this rock right in front of the pyramid, look at this one. And you see that this cut right here on it. You see how it just looks sort of like, it just like cha-cha-chin? It's weird. And when you look at them, these things, like whatever's cutting through these 100-ton blocks, which is about the size bigger than these tables, it's about 2 millimeters big. So what are you using? Copper? How would that copper erode through granite? So where's all the copper debris on the floor? That should be green and sudded into the ground, because it's still in some of the obelisk cracks. No one even mentions that. That's just my thought. Like, where did it go? Because you would be at such a rate of grinding down so much copper. But I got pictures of a block, and when you look at it, it has a lip, and you look, all the blade granules are going the same direction. But when you look at how big this block was, it's literally about the size of this part of the table. But when you do the dimensions of the circular part of the blade that match up with it, that it's like 8 meters, which is like 32 feet big of a blade. How wobbly is that? At 2 millimeters, and you can tell me you can get that to go through a fucking thing 8 feet?
The weird thing is that cut at the bottom there.
Makes no sense.
That flush cut at the bottom.
Right? It's weird.
The flush cut at the bottom right here.
Hmm?
This is the cut that bothers me. This is the one that cut right there. It's not a shadow.
Yeah.
It's a flush cut.
It's a flush cut.
They came in at an angle.
Yeah, I'll show you one more.
So something's going on, dude. Like, but this is inside, because you can also see from this angle.
Yeah, so this
something
is
is broken off now. This is the clean side right here.
Yeah.
This is clean. This is original, or original-ish, right?
That's a cut.
But then, or a finish.
Yeah, that's another cut.
And then you can see right here. So this could be a finish.
But look at this. It's another cut.
It could be. I'm just saying, this could also be a finish.
Oh, yeah.
On top of rough stone. Either way, what you see here is you see an angled cut, and you see a smooth finish. So that almost looks like when this stone is cut a certain way, it looks like this. and like this.
Yeah, but look at this. This is how old it is. Look how eroded this is, and there would have been tiles on top of this. This was all not even meant to be
It
seen.
looks like samples have been taken from this.
That's what I thought when I first saw it originally. But check this out. I'll
It
show
looks
you
like
other shit.
samples have been taken.
I'll show you other
Because of
shit.
the erosion that you're talking about on top, the rounded edges, and the rounded edges you can see are from wind erosion, but these streaks downward, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's water. You can see that. That's water. That's huge amounts of water coming from the top down. The rounded edges going that way, and this way, and this way. That could be anything. But those ones going directly down, that's
So it got
obviously
flooded.
water.
Yeah.
But these down here,
I'll show you more.
that looks like a sample was taken from that rock.
That's what it looks like.
That could have been anywhere in the last 100 years. So that one's
So
tough.
this is
That one's tough, dude. As much as I want to believe.
Yeah, well, I'm not here to convince anybody, man. That's not my game. I could care less what people think. I'm not here for any attention or any of that shit. I just
So again, this is insane. Like, I can just see right now the marks. I can see the feed rate going down. So it's pretty impressive. But then you just got to wonder, like, when was that done?
For sure, of course. When
You
was
know?
it done?
Yeah.
But like the amount of it is so insane. When you go there in person, and like actually see it in person, then it's a little bit different. And like,
Yeah, when was that done? Because if that was done when they say it was done, that's insane.
this is closed
Jesus
off. This is
Christ.
closed off to the public, man.
That's insane. That feed rate is pretty fucking.
Isn't it? Where are you getting it that
Oh,
thin? Even still locally, like out there in the middle of fucking nowhere.
You can zoom in too far. Part of that almost looks like it's. There's a radius on it for. There's definitely a radius on
Yeah,
it. So
it's like
whatever
8
cut
meters.
it or brushed it, right? Because you could argue, an asshole could sit here and argue that that's brushed concrete, the way the granules are spread.
You could have the lip.
You could argue
This
that.
is if you look at this lip right here. See the thing is.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, see the thing is like.
But you could also argue that's a circular saw coming in this way. and
Yeah.
that's just a feed rate. So
It's big ass saw though.
right
already.
It's a huge
And
radius.
so where this
either
place-
way, whatever did that is a huge radius.
Yeah. So where this place is at is like, so here's one where you can see where it goes off kilter. This was in at the museum, and when you look at it on the back, it's two circular sides. It could have been at an angle, but for some reason they like went offside for so long. If they were doing it by hand, you should have been able to just fix it. And I'm not
No,
saying that they
that's
didn't
obvious.
do it
That
by
looks
hand.
like a running saw. That looks like so. That's usually
I got
if
kicked
you're
out of the
cutting
museum
metal-
looking at it.
if you're cutting metal and this happens, that usually happens because you have a dull blade, right, or a chipped blade. So every time the blade comes through, it skips. And when it skips, it doesn't come down on the exact same track, so it doesn't go in a perfect line. It'll start running. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
100%, yeah.
that's what this
Yeah.
looks like is happening
and
here.
you can see the mark that they originally made.
Yeah, and
like
it
the
almost looks
stencil.
burned.
Yeah.
It almost looked burned. And
The
then
side of
and
it.
then it's almost impossible to recover the original line,
Exactly.
which
So
is
they
why you
scrapped
would
it.
give up.
Yep.
Which is why you would give up unless you can maybe come cut it from the other side. But that you might be able to do that in some metalworking stuff, but I can't imagine that would work in stone.
So the one commonality between all these things around the world is that you
And
always
again, I'm
find
not
things
an
that are
expert at this,
unfinished.
but I understand the general principle of these things.
Here's a rock underground. It's almost 50 tons.
Why would that be there?
How many people would it take to lift a 50-ton rock?
Would
And
they-
how much space is there right
and what
there?
is the argument? They just
And that's
gave up on
underground.
moving it?
And that's underground. There's no light. There's no soot from fire. There's no windows. That's a tunnel labyrinth underground called the Serapeum.
And what's the argument? They just gave up on moving it?
Yeah, they don't know because something just happened at this point in time, and it just all of them stopped, all around the world. Massive. Like they have
Maybe.
to take like L corners under there, and it's like, where do you pick this up? You can't lift it with 50, 200, 300 people maybe. But where can you fit it? Like that's not even a foot. Like you have to like suck your gut in to get by that.
Right on the one side, yeah. That's weird, dude. And it's a not hollow, but it's like
It's cut out, yeah.
it's not a solid block
Not
either.
solid,
So
but
it's not just there randomly.
Yeah. There's like 12, 13.
There's a
of them.
purpose to this.
Yeah, man.
It definitely doesn't look like it's supposed to go there, though.
No, for sure. So whatever happened, just stopped.
So they weren't done.
Yeah, they were not finished. Unfinished. There's lots of things that are unfinished. And
That's super weird. That's fucking, dude, that really fucks with my brain, too. Because I haven't even seen that or heard about that.
yeah, most people
I mean,
won't.
maybe I have, but I doubt it. I don't think I've seen it.
So here's the commonality between them,
What the
between
fuck,
Peru
dude?
and Egypt, right there.
Oh, the interlocking blocks. I've seen this before.
Yeah.
And I've wondered, because that is online. That shit's online for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
people
yeah.
can definitely look at the commonalities between the interlocking blocks in Egypt versus Peru and fucking Brazil and all those other places. People can definitely verify that.
Here's another two, like probably maybe 50, 20 ton stone. Zoomed
Yeah,
in
I
even
see
more.
that perfect line right there. Which almost looks like the stone is like grown or sandwiched in.
Like compressed or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's, especially horizontally, that's the same crack you showed me before.
It's a different one right next to it. Yeah.
No, but
just-
it's the
Yeah.
same crack, but it's horizontal.
Yeah.
Which I guess you could dupe me.
Yeah.
But it's
But-
pretty obvious from the shadows.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's
and
so weird, dude.
it is
That's
weird.
so fucking weird, dude.
And then this was a room that they had as well at a place. And if you notice if you know sound, then you notice the ceiling. This is apparently one of the oldest ceilings that's like still available. And then with this type of thing, it will travel with the sound. So they have like a niche where you stick your head in it, and when you start to like hum certain things, the sound
That's interesting
reverberates.
because I wonder if the frequencies bounce on the.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the literal gaps between these, I wonder if that's meant for a frequency because that's how you would do that. That's exactly how that would work. You were allowed to go into this spot?
Yeah.
Is this the 33 hertz spot?
No, it's near it though.
That's so crazy. So they were using wood
Yeah, but that's sandstone. That's not wood.
up there?
Yeah, that's not wood.
Really? That
Yeah,
looks like
that's,
wood.
That's like sandstone, I believe. Sandstone or limestone. Yeah. Weird.
Wow, I thought that was wood. The way they carve it, the way they make it look. That's crazy. It looked like there was a knot in there and everything.
Yeah. The grain, the compression of the way the earth sediment is,
Yeah.
the way it goes. Yeah, it looks like wood. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah.
Like
But-
it looks like in the one there's even a knot in there.
Yeah, there might be some wood in some of the spots in there, but it was all super like polished at one point. Like side walls.
No.
Yeah.
No, the ceiling.
Yeah.
That looks like wood. That
Yeah.
looks like wood grain.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's wood. That it might not be because honestly, I really don't know what I'm talking about. But
It may be. I'm pretty sure it's the sediment because if you look right here, it looks like a rock.
yeah, you might be right.
I think that's the sediment layers of compression from the geological
Yeah,
order
you
of
might
it.
be right, dude. You
Weird.
might. Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to touch it. I'd have to touch
No,
it,
for
knock
sure.
on
Yeah,
it. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Like,
Yeah, I got it.
eyes will deceive kind
yeah,
of shit.
Yeah,
you know?
no, that's the thing, man. And it sent me on a whole fucking thing. Like, that's why I couldn't stop.
So what got you into tattooing that sent you on this crazy fucking journey that we just got talked about? Like, were you always an artist as a little kid? Like,
Yeah, man. Yeah, I ran away when
Oh,
I was
thanks,
a kid. I used to tattoo.
Look at that.
Like, when I was like fucking 14, 15, and 16 and shit like that. Just like fucking around. Would tattoo myself. Right now, appreciate it.
Oh, I'm gonna grab a cigar.
But yeah, I've always drawn. I've always like done shit, man. Like I like made a Megazord when I was a kid. Out of paper, yeah, out of paper. Like made like a 3D one. So like I've always been at like making shit and
like Power Rangers,
yeah,
Megazord,
Power Rangers,
bro.
yeah,
yeah, dog.
yeah.
White Ranger, Green Ranger.
I think both are the same, ain't they?
They're the same guy,
Yeah.
but which one were you? Are you a Green Ranger guy or a
I
White
think
Ranger
probably
guy?
green. To be
Yeah, I was
honest with
Green.
you.
Yeah, because that's the OG.
Yeah, of
He
course.
came back after he died and the show tanked.
Yeah.
Then they brought him back as the White Ranger.
Yeah.
He died and immediately the show. I mean, immediately people just stopped watching and they were like, "Bring him back." And that's when he was the White Ranger, and he sucked.
Yeah, looking back at it now, man, I was so young when that shit was out, but like looking back at it,
Megazord.
holy fuck. Yeah, it's pretty silly.
I hated it. So, dude, I gotta be honest with the world. Okay, so this is when in retrospect, I learned to be true to my original instincts, right? Because I saw the Power Rangers, and I remember before school or on a Saturday morning, whenever it played, I don't remember. And I just remember being like, "This shit's gay." And then I went to school. And all of a sudden, all my friends were obsessed with it. And I was left out. And I conformed. And I pretended I liked Power Rangers. So much to the point where I had to collect all the Power Rangers toys to prove that I was the biggest Power Rangers fan. Because that was the currency in fucking third or fourth fucking grade or whenever dumbass fucking age I was, right? So I had all the toys, and I got my mom every birthday and Christmas present. That's all I wanted for like two solid years, and I pretty much got everything. And then a few years later, 16, 17, 18 years old, I don't remember, this new fad came in called Pokemon. And I was like, yo, this shit is stupid. But all my friends were into it. But this time I was like, no, this shit is stupid. I'm not doing this Pokemon thing. I'm too old for this shit. I'm into metal music. I'm trying to be in a band. I'm fucking like, nah, fuck this gay shit, right? Because this is how you talk as a teenager, right? So then all of a sudden I look back and Power Rangers is like back on some network on replay. And I was like, oh, I loved this show. I'm going to watch this because I was a kid. And then all of a sudden I was like, dude, this shit sucked. This is the worst fucking show. And then I found out the documentary. Do you know about this?
Huh?
It's not a real show. It's a Japanese show that they literally, every single fight scene is just from a Japanese show. And then they just copied the fucking costumes and then
What
just
the fuck?
filmed American actors. I swear to God, we'll pull this up.
Holy shit, that's smart though. Fuck, man.
And then they just filmed American actors with American scenes and American issues and then just copied and pasted it and called it a show, which is why it fell off the rails and it never fucking made sense, dude. Yes,
Oh.
yes. The Super Sentai series. And look at the costumes. They're
Yeah.
identical.
Yeah.
Not just close.
Yeah.
They are literally
That's
identical.
the same shit, yeah, for sure.
Literally identical.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
so all the fight scenes, all of it was stolen.
Oh, man, that's insane.
Stolen,
Wow.
by the way. I don't even think they paid for it, dude.
Oh,
I don't even
man.
think they paid for it. God, you gotta love the 90s, man. It was
What the
It was the
fuck?
Wild West, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the best. It's the best, dude. Oh, man.
That's crazy. Holy shit.
Oh,
Yeah, man, that's weird.
fucking fun stuff. Fun stuff, dude. You really just think about the absolute intellectual theft that we committed, dude, as Americans.
I wonder if that MXC show is that way. You know what I'm talking about? It's like Korean, like fucking like extreme sports where they're like all dressed up like on water slides and shit, and like knocking
get
each
hit
other
with
off.
big fucking
Like weird shit and like rolling down a hill
I think
and shit.
that's the exact same thing, but deliberate and on purpose. And I think they bought the license.
they bought
for
that one.
and
Okay,
just
cool.
overdubbed it because they don't even refilm that.
That's silly.
Where you're talking about the one where it's literally still just Asian people doing.
Yeah, the one
right?
that would come on in the middle of the night type shit. Yeah, back in the day.
But
yeah.
it's an American
Yeah,
overdub.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they actually
like
just
current
bought the
day topics
licensing
and shit. Yeah.
I think they did. It's the same thing, but legit.
Okay. Cool.
I think that one's above board. Look that one up. Do you know what he's talking about, Will? You don't know what he's talking about? So it's like the Japanese game show, Japanese extreme sports game show or something like that. It's like sort of like American Ninja Warrior, but not with athletes. And it got turned into like, yeah, that's it. Yeah, MXC.
Yeah. That is it.
Yeah.
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. Okay. I didn't know that was the name of it.
So it got canceled due to the end of its source material in the Japanese game show Takeshi's Castle. Yep. I'm pretty sure this was the same exact idea, but legit this time, above board.
That's cool.
Yeah. So, anyways, going back to this. Sorry, man. We're getting a little off topic. So, let's start over. How did you start doing tattooing? You mentioned, yes, you always wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
Was it comic books? Was it you wanted to be an animator?
I really like.
Or was it just straight up, I want to fucking put shit on people's skins. I want to fucking ruin their lives.
Oh yeah, both. But yeah, I would say I like the 90s Batman animated series, like the contrast that's in it. You know, like how it was like really dark animated series.
That was when I was into it.
So I like that one. I think that one was really cool. I think that set the tone. I think like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and all that shit from back then, Gargoyles and all that stuff that was out, like that contrast and like those colors, you know, and like the Scooby Doo's and all that shit. You know, I like that kind of shit, you know. And then so I remember seeing this dude's stuff in like the fucking magazines and stuff, and was like, wow, it used to be like really like colorful work. This guy's stuff in the magazines that I would see, and turned out he was on this. His shop was in a magazine that I saw as a kid, and like I always saw it. And it was like really colorful faces and shit like that, you know. And I just remember I was like, holy shit, how is this even possible? Like, absolutely, like I have no idea how any of this is possible, but like in the back of my head, I knew it was like someone could do it, you know? Years later, I end up meeting this dude and working with him and shit, which was cool. But the way I got into this like style, I would say it's more so now. I used to be like, when I first started, it was
what
like,
is your style for people that don't know? Because I definitely don't know tattoo art culture lingo. So like, what is your style now versus where you started and how you got in?
I think now it's probably
like, take us back. Treat us all like we're dumbasses. Because
Okay.
I kind of am, especially in your world. I'm kind of an idiot.
So I started off doing a lot of like black and gray, a lot of like metal shit, a lot of like punk rock shit, a lot of like Grim Reaper skulls, like band logos and all that kind of shit. I would do a little bit of like psychedelics and then like try to like make a psychedelic like style, and it just never really like worked out until like the whole DMT like experience, you know. And then that's when like I was able to like start getting a little bit like more mental clarity of like things, the way things should like unify and have more harmony to like add balance.
Was it
and,
like a depth thing?
Yeah, depth and like contrast,
like
and
field of view or whatever.
yeah,
you call
and
it.
being able to control the viewer's eye and where you want them to go first and what to look at.
Because that's what I
and
think
depth.
is super incredible about some of the stuff I've seen you put online over the last 2 years as I've been following you.
Yeah.
Is, man, you can pretty much do anything. You can do incredible faces when you choose to. Like, wow, man. Like some of the portrait work, I think is what you guys call it.
I tried to stay away from the term portrait, I guess, because then it's always like someone just wants their like grandma's face or something. So that's like a portrait. I'd say just like along the lines of like realism, surrealism.
But I've
Try to,
seen you
like-
do stuff like that, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
impressive.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
then I've seen you do it where, God, it's almost, I don't want to say 3D.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, the shadowing, the
Yeah.
depth.
Yeah, the depth. Yeah,
And
for
you
sure.
put
yeah.
it in the right part of the arm
Yeah.
or the leg
Yeah,
to where you're using the curve of the surface. So when you look at it, especially from the right angle, because you do a great job of like going around and showing the whole thing. You know, you don't just do a still shot. You do like a little bounce from side to side. And man, when you hit this one angle, it's like some of that great street art where it's on the ground and you walk across it, and from the perfect angle, it looks like you're going to fall in. But from every other angle, it just looks like something's on the ground. You know, it's kind of like that, dude.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like really impressive, man. And that's obviously deliberate because you do it over and over again.
Yeah. I try not to look at it, but that's just what interests me, and that's just the way I see it, and that's the way I like it. There's people that do different things, and like what you were saying with like the depth and trying to achieve that with like the shadows. I really like to try to have multiple layers, like a background, like a midground, a subject, a foreground, and then like some sort of light source that's gonna like drop a shadow on all of it, so that there's like a sense of depth, you know, an illusion of it. I like to do that. I've sort of stayed away from it at times because it gets a little bit complex, depending, you know, if people want to add to it down the road, how can you, because if they put something, it can ruin it, you know. So it all depends.
So if it started with like the Batman series, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same age. Power Rangers, X-Men. You probably liked X-Men then, the
Yeah,
animated
that's cool.
series, right?
Yeah.
So how
Saturday.
so you wanted to be a comic book artist?
To be honest with you, I really didn't think about much of that shit. I was really like
just
big
drew?
into just into drawing at the time. I really like people that liked like Pokemon and shit like that. I would draw Pokemon characters and sell them at school. Like that was like what I was into.
Sure.
And like I really wasn't too into the cards, but the characters and drawing them. I don't know why I used to do that and like make like bookmarks and shit. And, like
Well, you're
weird
just
shit,
young
man.
enough to where it wasn't super gay for you to do it.
Yeah,
Like-
yeah,
like-
yeah. I
like,
was,
again,
in,
again,
like, 5th or
guys,
6th grade. Yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
telling you right now, if you are fucking my age and you're still into Pokemon, bro, here's how I look at you. You probably go into public and try to do business in Crocs. I don't respect you. That's what I'm fucking saying, dude. I don't respect you. If you're 40 years old and you're into Pokemon, I don't respect you. Dude, if you do business in Crocs, I don't respect you. You're a different group of human being that I don't want to fuck with, bro. Cause zombie apocalypse, nah, you're not gonna hang, bro. Like you're gonna be, nah, you're worried about some weird other shit, dude. So, but your age, that's my Power Rangers. You know what I mean? It's just a few years younger.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
just a few years younger. So for your age, being 36,
Yeah.
not nearly as gay. Actually, super normal. Because that's their dude. Metallica covered the Pokemon song. That's how much it matters to a certain age group, right? So it's cool if you're that age or younger, and you're the cutoff. You just made it, bro. You just made it, bro. 1 year older, 1 year older, and you'd be questionable as fuck.
Yeah, right.
dude.
No, yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah. definitely.
No, but anyways, so you're making whatever people are into. You're making art. You're selling it in school. You don't really care. Like it's whatever.
Better than paying attention to whatever else is going on at the time, you know. So, yeah.
So are you already making decent money by the time you're leaving school doing art?
Man, so I ran away when I was 14, and I just quit everything. And then I just went from Florida to New Mexico. I met a girl on an AOL chat line back in the day, like the ASL
Where you originally
chat.
from? Florida?
Yeah.
Florida,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
you ran away to meet some chick on AOL?
Yeah.
Wow, man.
Yeah, so.
How'd that go?
It was a crazy time, you know, like the journey to get there was insane. Like I remember when I left, I was like, so the real crazy shit was when I first started the journey, my bus driver actually helped like pick me up in the morning. My school bus driver that my little sister knew, actually, she picked me up in the morning and brought me to the Greyhound station to leave, bought me a carton of cigarettes and shit. And I was like, fuck yeah, down, you know, fucking weird looking back now, you know, but whatever. So
it must have been bad, and she must have known.
Yeah,
you're not running away from a good home.
I wouldn't say it was horrible, but I have my own like shit going on, you know what I mean? And I was in and out of like trouble and dealing with shit, so like it's not really like shit, you know, like it is what it is. But anyway, so like yeah, I don't know, I dipped though, but like right away, man, like this, like as soon as I got on the first Greyhound, some dude's all like, yo, you look nervous, and he like gave me a Xanax, and I took it, the whole fucking thing. And then like,
thank God this isn't 2005 when this happens. Wait, it might have been 2005.
Yeah, it was like around there.
I was just gonna say, dude, all these shit. I'm super old, dude, because I'm like, man, thank God this isn't 2005. You could have been handed a fucking roofie, and I'm like, wait, this is 2005, dude.
Yeah, no. So check this out. I never even took one of these motherfuckers before. But like people were really big into them where we're from, like the bars back in the day. So I took one. I didn't even really feel like much was going. I guess like a drunk without being drunk, sort of in dream state. I convinced this dude to give me 7 more, and I just ate them all. I ate 7 of them. I missed my bus for 3 days at the Orlando Greyhound station. People like took off with my luggage. I like tried to like drown myself in the fucking like shower or in the sink to like wake myself up. And security came in. What the fuck are you doing? They pulled me by my shirt. And was like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what the fuck? It was insane. I had no idea what I took, what it was, or anything. I lost all my shit. That was just day 1. Turned into day 3. It was just the fucking beginning of it. What the fuck, you know? Holy shit,
You're
man.
so lucky, bro. Okay, keep going.
So, but yeah, man. I don't know. I got my last $20 taken from me in Atlanta. Someone sold me a bag of shoelaces at the fucking Greyhound station as soon as I got out.
What were you trying to buy?
Just weed.
Just weed?
Yeah,
and you got a
rolled
bag
blunt.
of shoelaces?
Yeah, I got a bag of shoelaces. I'll never forget that shit.
Were they painted green?
Nah,
Not
just
even?
wrapped up like in a cloth. It was like, yo, keep it on the low. Here it is. Like, people were like shunned down on weed, you know, back in the day.
Wow.
This was before it was legal anywhere.
Yeah, no, I remember those days, dude. Man, I still to this day can't eat oregano. Because one time I got sold a bag of fake weed, and it had oregano in it, and I smoked that shit.
Oh, shit.
So, still to this day.
I'm sure.
It's so bad. This is how bad it is. If you make my sandwich on a board where the sandwich next to it did have oregano, I can taste the oregano and it will ruin my sandwich.
That's funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
like
I'll
watch in front of me people that are ordering, and if they order oregano, I'll skip a spot. And I'll be like, you can go in front of me. People look at me like I'm crazy. And I'm like, no, it's all good. And if that person orders oregano, then I'm like, oh, I still can't decide. You can go in front of me. And I just keep letting people go until somebody doesn't order oregano. And then I go, okay, I'm ready. Because I just I can't have oregano that close. Because I can fucking taste it. And I can always taste it. I can always still taste it. But like, there's a level. And if it's sprinkled right next to because that shit still makes it onto my fucking sub, dude. It fucking ruins my life, dude, because it brings me back to being 13 years old, smoking oregano, fucking trying to get high in my fucking bedroom, you know, like, I think I got ripped off, you know? Like, dude, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
It sucks, dude. So fuck, man. You're 14 years old, fucking... From Florida,
So
Georgia,
to
Alabama,
to like through Louisiana. I'm guessing whatever. It's been a while. Louisiana and whatever the fuck else, and Texas and New Mexico. Half out to there. Fucking that was crazy. Yeah, that was a whole different way of life, man.
So what happened from there?
I stayed out there, man. Did a lot of skateboarding, a lot of fucking around, did a lot of shit I shouldn't have done. Gotten a lot of partying, a lot of shit. You know, I didn't have no parents anywhere. I like rented a place for like $150. This like camper, you know. Like, I had a fucking like a cord and it plugged in. I had like an old school TV and shit. It was black and gray.
What are you doing for scratch back then?
I had a job as like a server, or not like a server, but like a the in between, you know, like the not bus boy, but the other in between. I don't know, maybe bus boy, server. I don't know, whatever in between position that was. What I was given. So I'd get tips and shit daily, you know. If I like did good, I'd get cut out and shit. So like I was getting paid, but it was weird because like I was like smoking weed and shit, and like going to work at like 8 o'clock in the morning and like serving like cops and shit, and I was like, fuck, man. It was like always like really like
on edge.
Yeah,
for years. I feel that. Yeah, I remember that. I was a waiter for a long time, kind of doing a similar vibe, just being a musician, just a degenerate. You know? And I'm like, I'm always around straight people. Yeah. It's kind of always fucking with my vibe. Like, I'm always a little nervous. Fuck, man. I hope they don't suspect me of anything. You know. Now in retrospect, it's like these dudes don't give a fuck. At that point in their career, they know you're high, and they don't give a fuck. Like, dude, they're trying to end their night, drink some fucking coffee, go home, fucking get some sleep. You know what I mean? They're just trying to make it to the end of their shift. Like, fuck, please don't let me get a call for the next 2 hours. That kind of shit. The last thing they want to do is wrap up some busboy because they smell a little bit of weed on him. But when we're that age, we don't know any better.
Yeah.
I know a bunch of cops now, so it's a little different.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. Out there's a little bit different too, man. They're really loose with things out there. I found it was like the Wild West, man. You can go out there and do whatever you want, you know? Like out in the mesa, go shoot fucking guns out in the washing machines and shit. Like that's like a daily shit. Like it's crazy. Different limits, different like rules, different ethics, different shit. So that's what I was talking about earlier. It is 50 different countries. Because like you go one state over, Minnesota versus Wisconsin, completely different cultures. Yeah, even the roads are different.
I can just go 90 minutes that way.
Yeah.
And I have a completely different set of rights. You know? Like, it's kind of wild. Don't fucking speed, though. Don't fucking speed in Wisconsin, though. My wife gets a little liberal when it comes to the speed limit in Wisconsin. And I keep telling my wife, slow down. She's like, I'm only doing 69. I'm like, the speed limit's 65. She's like, yeah, but it's and I'm like, it's 65 in Wisconsin, not 66, not 67. These cops don't fuck around. If they want you, they get you. My wife does not get that. So how do you go from being a degenerate, just fucking waiting tables, to saying, hey, man, I want to, or can, maybe you don't even make the decision. Did you like have some life moment where you're like, fuck this, I'm going to do the thing and I'm going to be a or did it just like slowly curate itself?
Man, when I was
through opportunities that came your way. Like, how do you go from this to tattooing?
So back then, it really wasn't many people with tattoos, you know. So like 2004, 2005, 2006 time, there's really not a lot of people with tattoos.
Kind of the birth of it. A little
bit. Of where it's starting to like really pop off. But like
in pop culture.
Yeah. So I would like already have tattooed like my legs with shit. So I'd wear shorts and people would see it. Yeah. And people would see it and be like, oh, you do tats? Like, I want them. And so it was just like, well, this is where the money and this is where, like, it just kind of like, I didn't have to do anything. I just sat on the curb one day and someone came up to me And I was all like, oh, well, that's all I got to do because technically, like, everyone wants one.
You
for the
guys
most
always
part.
make the best tour guests. Oh, you run sound and you do tattoos? Dude, come on tour with us. Because you guys can make your own money. You know where I'm going with this? Like,
I have no idea.
like
Yeah.
as a musician, anybody who comes on tour with us who's also a tattoo artist is the easiest person to be on tour with. Because they always have money. Because they can always generate their own work.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like, because I just tattoo while I'm on the road and I'm falling out of control.
Yeah,
like
definitely.
their whole thing is like my income is uninterrupted.
Yeah.
So I'm coming to do lights for you, but like I'm not begging for your $100 a night or $150 as an up and coming band. I'm doing this because I love your band.
Yeah.
And if I need money, if I want to go stay in a nice hotel, I just do more tattoos.
Yeah.
I can do that because I'm the shit. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's super common. Like, you will be shocked. And musicians, like a guy in a band, you know, the drummer, the singer, the bass player, he's a tattoo artist. That's why he's able to survive on tour, travel the world, do whatever the fuck he wants because he's that good. And he just, I just do tattoos. I'm just dope.
That's cool.
Nowadays, especially, right? Like guys like you just, hey, I'm in this town.
Nowadays, it's a lot easier. I mean, in 2014, no one was really doing this. I didn't have anyone to like show me like what to do. You know, I just sort of sat there and it was all like, "Fuck, man, I need to go out there and do this myself." If no one's gonna offer it to me, I'm just gonna go hit someone up and be all like, "Yo, can I come there?"
But let's
Fuck
just
it,
pretend.
you know?
Let's just make up a hypothetical, pretend magical scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's just pretend you're a fan of Jeremy Montoya, right? You love Jeremy Montoya, my singer, right? You're a huge fan of him, and you do the podcast and you're like, oh, fuck, I know that dude. I love that guy. Oh, you guys are in a band together? Fucking right on, man. And then all of a sudden we get like an opening slot in Chicago or St. Louis opening for some dope-ass national band. And you could just be like, I'm going to come down. And you could just like literally put out a post and just be like, I'm in St. Louis. Who wants a tattoo?
Yeah.
And you could just make X amount of dollars.
You can to a degree.
You are that dope.
You can to a degree, but for me, like if I do that, I got some fucking cocksucker trying to fucking get me in trouble with the health and state and shit.
Yeah, there's some licensing shit.
So there's licensing shit. So it sucks, and then I gotta deal with someone.
You're right.
So to like
dude.
freely do it, to be like myself and like really do it, it's like, man, I gotta include like 3 other motherfuckers, go tattoo at someone else's shop and do all that shit instead of just like doing that at a hotel.
Right.
And get a baller ass hotel, throw some fucking plastic down, and just like a nice view. That's how I want to do it. You know, that's what I want to do.
Touche.
But,
There's
like,
always the business.
Yeah, all that little shit, man.
There's always the business.
It's
right.
annoying.
There's always
but I've
the
always
government.
done it. I've respected it. I get it. I understand. It's cool. You know, but
so maybe not in
annoying.
a one night thing. You might need like a weekend or something
Yeah.
to like do it right, because you got to go into somebody else's shop first, right?
Yeah,
And
and do that and get to know them and talk and sit down and set up. And sometimes you just show up and put your headphones on. Hey,
and
all
then
right,
how
cool.
does that where you get like some sort of default license because you've done something in a licensed shop?
Yeah, like a guest temporary license
Something
or
like
something,
that,
depending
right?
on where you go.
I've heard
Yeah.
about this because the reason I know about this, and I still have questions about this at the exact same time, is because I wanted to set up a music and tattoo convention.
Yeah.
And get like a bunch of bands playing and then have a bunch of fucking tattoo artists happening so you could get a tattoo during a band playing.
For sure.
And like do whatever you want. And like I started doing some research, and man, the fucking red tape.
Yeah, that's
mobile
exactly
tattooing.
it. Yeah. That's exactly it.
Bro.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You're right there.
Immediately it was
Yeah.
like, I need a lot of money to front load this thing, and I need huge headlining acts to be able to draw the amount of people that I could charge enough for tickets to get that back. It's in a I mean, I need no bullshit. If I really wanted to do it right the way I do things, I would need $250,000.
For sure.
Because I'd have to have 5 different acts that I'm paying $30,000, and then the rest goes to the red tape and the facilities and the fucking all that shit. And honestly, even at that point, I'm probably not even charging booths for the tattoo artists. I'm probably just trying to recruit the best ones and being like, It's free. Just come here and do your thing. You know what I mean? I'll pay the fee, whatever it is. Like, it was not worth it. Like, I could not do the math. I could not find a way to do it. Like, you would need a bankroll of somebody who's willing to lose $250,000. If you really want to do it right and have a great experience and try to do it a second time or a third time.
Yeah, you're going to have to go in on it.
You're probably going to have somebody willing to lose $250,000, and they probably wouldn't. They'd probably lose 50 or 75. But then you do it the second year or the third year, and then maybe you make your money back. Because, man, that shit was maybe the most convoluted thing I've ever looked into doing. Because each individual artist had to have some...
Everything, yeah, it's a lot.
It was wild, dude.
Yeah, for sure.
So your kind of way around that when you started doing shit was you establish yourself in a shop, and each kind of state has their own regulations, right? But you're...
Well, in the States, I just usually worked in, before, like, I came in Minnesota and then I got actually, like, licensed up here, so I just stayed in shops here. But when I travel, like, Europe and shit like that, I just go to other people's shops. Sometimes, like, in other countries, their shop is in their house because, like, that's just what they do. Or even, like,
in that country doesn't have a regulation on that?
Yeah, and so, like, even in Egypt, it's illegal to tattoo. It's, like, highly illegal. Like, you'll get in trouble and get shunned. And so, like, all my people are, like, outsiders, like, fucking outcasts that are, like, looked down on it, you know? But they're, like, ride or die people that do the thing and make this economy, or not this economy, but make this artistry excel. Like, and my homie in Kenya as well. Like, I went out to Kenya and met some artists out there, and, like, they're out there in the middle, you know, like, it's crazy out there, man, but they're doing everything the best that they can to maintain everything, the health standards and shit. And it's like, you can't buy the stencils, the needles, the shit. So it's like, they got to get taxed and charged to, like, get, like, premium quality needles and shit. Right. It's like, they do it. But this is what they are. This is their soul. And to me, that's another thing. Like, I like to travel around and see how people do things, like, out in, like, Europe and, like, Finland and Scandinavia. It's a little bit different, and, like, some people have, like, shops, and some people tattoo out of their house as, like, a private, you know, like, dojo type, like, environment, you know. It's like their own little zen area. It's right. Like, you know, and that's right. Where they go, but there's not really much oversight, but, like, as is here, and that to a degree sort of limits, but it's good. It covers your ass, so I'm not complaining. But at other places, you're a little bit able to have a little bit more freedom to build it up, you know, and do what you want, you know, and to do it the way you want. And but the amount of ways that I've seen people around the world that I thought would, like, skip corners, and, like, I was absolutely surprised at how much these people around there, for the lack of supplies and the ability for them to get anything, how well that they maintained a really high standard of stuff.
So when did you... Let me grab this dog.
Yeah.
Good, Peanut? She's so old, dude. She's like 16 years old, man. Anyways, so when did you, like, graduate, and when did you go from being, like, pretty good or okay, like, oh, I'm a tattoo artist now, to, like, I'm really good and I can, like, I don't want to use the wrong words, but, like, I would almost say exploit. I can exploit my talent and use that to travel. Like, what was the moment where you were like, oh, I don't just have to be, like, a guy in a random shop in Coon Rapids, Minnesota. I could do something really cool and fucking...
Back then, when I started traveling,
How old were you when that first happened?
I was 23, 24, something like that. So, like, 2014. So, yeah, 24. And then, when that happened, actually, and I was traveling around, I'll be honest with you, my work wasn't shit. I don't think really anyone's work was really good back then. A few people, but like compared to what we're doing now, even in this last 10 years, it's insane the amount of like talent.
What changed?
Everything, the application, the saturation, the scale of size, the ability to be able to do so much.
Technology? Is that different fucking
machines and the way that they go, and the depths, and the way that they go,
so
and
technology
like the
changed.
Technology.
So your
as well.
talents were always there. The technology caught up with your talent
To a degree, but there was also
it allowed you to do what was in your brain.
Yeah, so like we can like take images now, make an image, and if we don't like one spot, we can darken it now real easy. But like you used to have to do that in like Photoshop with a dodge and burn tool. But now you could do it on the iPad. But when the iPad came out, you didn't even have that fucking option.
So it's not
for
just
years.
in the needles and
yeah. It's on every aspect of it.
It's in the printing.
Yeah.
It's in the fucking transposing.
Yeah. All of that. Yeah, for sure.
No
100%.
shit. And
Everything,
then it still comes down to. So this is the beautiful thing I love about art and AI. No matter what that does, I want to get your opinion on this. Okay, so no matter what that does, and then I'm going to segue into what I want your opinion on. No matter what that does, it still comes down to your artistic talent to interpret that and get that on the canvas. In your case, the human skin. So I have a music analogy for this. Everybody's freaking out about AI. Okay, so here's what I think when it comes to music. And feel free to either answer it directly or use it as an analogy to pivot and talk about tattooing.
Okay.
However you want to answer this, feel free. It's open-ended. But here's what I think. What I think is a unique theory about AI. A non-fear about AI when it comes to music. Okay. Everybody is going to start using AI to either start a song, help a song, or finish a song in some way, shape, or form. Give it 5 to 10, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, whatever.
For sure.
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
Right?
If not sooner, for sure. Yeah.
Right. It's already happening. So I'm just saying, give it your arbitrary timeline, whatever you want. So AI times X. Okay. Now, I think what's going to matter, though, is your autistic 11-year-old across the street over there. He can create a Drake-level banger just by knowing how to prompt the AI. He can really seriously go in and be like, on the first bar of the second chorus, on the E of the and of the one, remove that snare hit. And totally change that groove.
Yeah.
And everybody, okay, cool. I get that. But when anybody can do that, it's not going to be impressive.
Okay, so I got some opinions on that.
What I think is going to be impressive, and what I think is going to save, ironically, what I think is going to save rock and roll and metal music specifically, and what is going to change hip hop and pop music, is the only thing people will be impressed by is, okay, but can you get on stage and perform that music?
No.
So it's going to completely get rid of anything that is, like, I think EDM is going to just get completely crushed unless you can recreate that with a live band. Because just simply hitting play on a set of loudspeakers isn't going to cut it anymore. You know, no matter how much you fucking bring in those samples, I understand and I respect it. You know, I get it. You got to time these things. You got to fucking do some really cool shit. It's very but again, if you can just hit play and do it with AI, it's not going to be that impressive anymore. So what people are going to go back to vibing with, people are going to, and this might take 50 years. That's why I said 50 years. Is people are going to start seeking out that authenticity, something they can resonate with as a human being. They're going to want to watch human beings perform music. So here's my point. Here's my question. And again, you can answer this any way you want. But the tattoo analogy for me was there will be a day where I can just put my arm in a machine and in 30 seconds have any tattoo I want.
Of course. 100%.
Turn your hand over.
Yeah. Again.
And it'll adjust for the fact that if I'm kind of twisted a little bit, you know what I mean? But again, that won't have any value.
Yeah.
That'll be a dime shop gas station tattoo. What people resonate with is, yeah, but did you sit down with a human being, conceptualize that together, you know, like really make sure that this piece went with your forearm and fucking, you know what I mean? Not just around it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that? I think it's going to save art in many ways because dime shop art will just kind of lose its, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I'm being too optimistic?
I see where you're where you go with it. 100%. I agree with on that. I think everything in like it's just a basic principle of the universe, the law. You know, like the pendulum swinging. You know, there's times and stuff, and it goes. So I think that this is definitely going to be where it's going to help, and I think it's going to end up basically like the sample aspect, like what you said, where it would get to like a bunch of different AIs, but more so with music, I guess. I'm looking at it from both ways. So like for music,
technically AI helps you do your job right now.
Of course it helps every like industry for everything. It's what's like the back program of like almost everything right now. And for me,
but everybody fears it'll make specifically artists obsolete.
I mean, fear is one thing. I'm not trying to fear anything and just do what I'm doing and not really worry about that, because people buy from people see, you know what I mean? They see this shit. Like me personally, I don't really tattoo a whole lot of people. I tattoo like less than 50, 20 people, depending on how big the projects are a year. So it's like my selection is really limited to who I'm even tattooing or who I even really want to spend the time around based off the project of what they submitted.
Do you have any idea like how lucky you are? Like do you reflect on that?
Now this is the thing, is for a point in time I didn't. At a point in time I didn't, and I watched everything slip. But now I've realized what I had in the gifts that I've been given, and I'm more grateful. And that's why I'm willing to come do things like this and be more outspoken and speak, so then people understand like the weird shit that I talk about, so then they can understand like anything's possible if you put your mind to it, man. And that's the thing, is like if I'm gonna sit with and have like any type of like a fear aspect, I'm just subconsciously putting that in my brain. Shit can happen, but I've been around the world and like I've been good. Shit has happened. I had my own gut instinct, intuition, but that comes from not being a consumer of the extent where you're being brainwashed by everything from music to fucking TV to fucking anything, because none of that's really fucking if you're using it as an entertainment and a way to do things, that's different. But a lot of people don't know where the line of entertainment and reality is, just like back in the day with like hip-hop music. A lot of people thought that, like, a lot of the shit that they, you know what I mean, it was like a lot of the shit that we were sold as an act.
No, elaborate. I don't know what you mean.
Okay, so like if you look at like a lot of like the way that the systems like with these kind of things that install like fear into people, like before all this like type of like music and like stuff, like it steals people's attention from reality. And I'm not saying like all music, but certain really main popular kind of things that are out and about do this, and some of it's hypnotically programmed in through repetition, and once you get in through psychology and
I
shit.
know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so it gets
it's the co-opt.
Yeah, and
so something is cool. It's organic. It comes from the earth. Name your genre. Reggae,
Yep.
rock and roll, blues, hip hop, whatever. And then somewhere along the lines, it's co-opted.
Yeah.
And then it's used to do something else.
Yeah.
That's what you're
Everything,
getting at.
yeah, because everything comes out, everything that's been existed in this reality came from an imagination.
Right.
It came from our
Nothing
imagination.
existed until it was thought of first.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it came from the realm of thought on the mental plane and before it manifested in this reality. It had to. Everything. So
even if that thought wasn't from a human, even if that thought was from a creator, whether you believe in the simulation theory or you believe in a god, again, nothing in this reality can exist without a thought.
yeah, 100%.
Something thought of it, and then it came into existence.
100%, yeah. That's the way I look at it. Because when you get into too much of the technicals of the who, the what, and where, and how, that's a little bit too much. I'm just looking at the things of the signs and the signatures and the fingerprints of whatever is
I'm
doing
with you, brother.
it and
I'm with
sticking
you.
it together.
I'm with you. I had to pause you and catch up, but I'm with you, dude. I'm with you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't misunderstanding you, man.
yeah,
I want to be respectful, dude.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, man. So I just think I've always tried to have that. I got locked up for a little bit when I was like 18, and someone brought me a book on like noetic science, and it started talking about
What'd you
like,
get locked up for?
At the time, it was for violation of probation, which was for weed charges. So it really wasn't like a long.
You get put in juvie or adult.
This was an adult, the Hennepin County. Yeah, for like just a few days.
You get put in a quad.
Yeah,
county?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old jail in the castle.
I've been
Yeah,
there,
on the
bro.
fourth floor.
I've
Yeah,
been there, dog. I've been there.
yeah.
Were you in for a felony or misdemeanor?
Misdemeanor.
Oh, that's
yeah,
easy.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
easy,
yeah.
homie. I'll tell you a story when we get out of here, dude. I was in there on a couple felonies, dog. It's not pretty, dude.
Oh, I'm sure.
You better be tough, oh boy. You better be tough. That's all I'm gonna say, dog. It's rough. It's rough, dude. It's county sucks, dude. Did you serve time?
Yeah, I've done them quite a bit off and on, man. When I was younger, that was the thing, is I ran away because I was on felony shit for like criminal mischief of like vandalizing shit, spray painting, like breaking random shit in this like neighborhood that I lived
so you
at.
weren't in on some real shit.
No, it's just like fucking. That's
You
why I
got,
was like, I want my freedom.
I got
I'm doing my own fucking thing, you know. But then they caught up with me when I was there, and they extradited me back. But I escaped off that airplane, and they fucking
Wait, you escaped off an airplane?
Yeah.
Hold on, we're playing a song. I gotta piss. Hold the fucking phone. You escaped off an airplane. We're pressing pause. We're playing a song. What did we do last time? Coalesce? You guys like Barrier? All right. We're going to do this. Okay. I'm going to force it to main cam. Okay. I'm going to bring up the media. You escaped from an airplane, dude? I got to piss so bad. Okay. We're going to play Barrier. And then I'm going to mute it. Yeah, but if you're look at your producer mic, guys, because when I hit this button, it's a switch. It's not a true mute. It's a switch. So what it's going to do is it's going to take whatever your plus is and turn it to a minus, which means if yours is active, it'll also mute it. Okay? If it's muted, it's going to unmute it. So maybe the smartest thing would be to do is right before we do it is unmute it. That way when I hit this button, everything's 100%. Or leave it and just be conscious of it, right? It's up to you guys. But we're going to play Barrier. We'll be right back. I got to piss. And then we're going to hear how Ruuben escaped from a plane. Oh, my God.
I felt my mind break today. I saw have to be void of misery. There's an emptiness inside I do not feel anymore. If I need to say this again, I'm in this through the end. And I believe that's what you need to hear. And I believe that I have now made this clear. If you would let me up, then maybe I would see if the sentiment has died, if this love was lost on me. If this ever really happened at all, it was hard to tell because it felt like I was dreaming. There must have been a point buried in this. There must have been a word that I had missed. If you would lift me up, then maybe I would see if the sentiment has died, if this love was lost on me. I need to change this now. I need to change this now. I need to face this now. I need to face this now. To change this now. I need to change this now. I need to face this now. I need to face this now. I need to change this now. I need to change this now. I need to change this. I need to face this now. I need to face this. I need to change this now. I need to change this. I need to face this. I need to face you. If you would lift me up, then maybe I will see if the sentiment has died, if this love was lost on me. I need to change this now. What was I looking for? I need to face this now. I'm not me anymore. I need to change this now. I set myself away. I need to face this now. Can you still hear me? To change this now. I need to face this now. I need to change this now. I need to face this now.
The way a musician sometimes communicates from their soul, right? And they kind of like, they're the emitter, like Jeremy here in those two songs we played. They're the emitter, right? They're kind of like broadcasting something. And then people that resonate with that message, whether it's the rhythm or the melody or the lyrics, they migrate to that signal. I feel like as tattoo artists, you guys kind of are more of a two-way vibe. You have to receive and broadcast to get some of these people through this 4-hour process, 6-hour process. What's your longest session you've ever done?
Like 4.5 days in a row.
What does that mean? I mean, that's obviously
Like
not 24 hours.
About 6 hours.
Days.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's about
right.
6 hours a day.
So
4
6
days
hours.
in a row, all the way up the side of the ribs.
So 6 hours.
Yeah, 6-8 hours. But
After 6 to 8
10,
hours,
yeah.
it's just not reasonable to make that person keep going.
yeah, for sure.
So in that process, you're either doing a lot of talking and helping them get through it, or you're doing a lot of listening. And listening, I mean, what is that like? How do you play that dynamic? Like, I mean, it's at this point in time, it's you probably don't even think about it. It's intuitive.
So this is gonna like basically go on a couple different aspects, I guess.
Keep that close to you.
So some of the aspects of what you're trying or what you're asking of what I've noticed within me is that it's a monumental time. Some people, I'm lucky enough, and most of the people I tattoo, they wait to get really big projects, so they get like their whole arm or whole back or something like that, really big projects, but they've never been tattooed before because they waited a really long time to
Like somebody like me then, in
so,
that scenario.
So they wait, and so to them it's really big transformative thing, but like at a certain point in time I really wasn't like too like, you know, like grateful with my life and what I was getting, you know. It was just sort of the same day. I sort of felt like I was like a cover band of my own shit. I was just doing the same thing every fucking day, trying to be the same guy that they saw on the thing, and it's just like, man, it gets a little bit hard, you know.
So at the beginning, you're kind of saying you're trying to do what other people, you're trying to do what you think other people like at that time.
Yeah.
At that.
Yeah, and still even like recently within the last couple of years when I've been to this point, you know, I would do it, and I would be more focused on the art, because sometimes the art that's what's there, you know. So the conversation sometimes would be harder, but I've realized, as weird as it sounds, like the more I've looked the other way and started to be more like sociable with people, the easier it is, and the more it's got done. So it's like a reverse thing, but then
Were you not always sociable?
Mostly not, because if I don't really have much to say except to focus on what I'm trying to do, like, hey, are you okay? Are you good? You know, here's this. But it's a lot of brain power, and I'm not gonna like eat in the middle of my session.
I mean,
get
maybe
tired.
back then, dude, but now it seems like you have a lot of life experience, dude. You've traveled the world. It seems like you can really understand how.
See, like I said, I took it for granted. That was the thing, is I took it for granted. So I didn't really value the connections of people that I had as much as I do now. And thanks to things like DMT and understanding these different things, it's put me in different perspectives. It's given to me. And what you're saying is like, it's like a two-way streak, and it's like everything in this universe is vibration. It's a frequency, and two frequencies, they make they make each other resonate from across the room if they're in the same tune. You know what I mean? So they'll catch waves. So naturally, just the way that the universe works, people are going to show up that are going to like that kind of stuff, and you just got to go with the flow and not go against it.
And sometimes, here's my favorite part of this. Sometimes, actually, here's the irony of this. And this is a perfect moment for me to throw this in here. Sometimes, not going with the flow is actually what creates progress. So, the reoccurring analogy I use on the podcast is, you can't create fire without a little friction, right? So if we're talking about the ebbs and the flows, friction is the idea of those things coming in counter perfect opposites and creating friction, okay? So we can't create fire without friction. That's a scientific fact. If we bring that in artistically, right? You find me a band that gets along perfectly, I'll find you a band that makes a bunch of basic ass shitty music that no one cares about.
Of course.
But those bands that like fight like cats and dogs, and you hear the craziest dramatic story, those are the best bands in the world. And I'm not saying you have to fight in order to make great music, but I'm saying if you make great music, you've definitely fought along the way. That's kind of what I'm getting at, right? Every great innovation, scientifically, philosophically, came from friction, from being unhappy with the flow. So there's a lot of go with the flow, but there's also go against the grain. You know?
Of course.
And this is kind of what I always argue with internally with my own personality and with all these things, is it's just, how do you figure out when to ebb and when to flow? And that is creativity, I think. And I don't think there is an answer, but I still want your answer. But there is no ultimate answer.
Of course, yeah.
There's just every artist's, every creative's explanation. And I think it will always be similar but a little different. So, for example, if you just went with the flow, you would just make what everybody wants.
Hmm.
But at some point in time, you said, no,
Yeah.
I'm
Zig
going
and
to do
zag.
something
Yeah.
cooler and better.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
So that's the ebb, right?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
saying, no,
yeah,
no,
for sure,
no, I'm
yeah.
not going to just go with the flow.
Yeah.
I'm going to actually create some friction
Okay,
here.
so I see.
You see what I'm saying?
So okay, yeah. In the grand scheme of things, there is friction, but within oneself is not doubting the inner voice. It's not doubting the inner voice. Going with the flow of what first comes to you and rolling with that.
Sure.
And going
Okay.
with that flow
So
and your
that's-
intuition
yeah,
and
okay.
guiding off on
I'm
a
vibing,
different
yeah.
plane of
Okay,
thought.
keep going, yeah.
Because if you're doing it from that area, then obviously I don't have to explain anymore.
No,
But,
keep going, because not everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
Like, I'm vibing with you, but
So-
not everybody else is. So
I
keep
guess-
explaining.
So I guess in my opposites attract, obviously that works, and there's a pull. There's a we live in this like electromagnetic realm. Everything's like electrical and like frequencies, so things are gonna like attract and not attract, and so when you do things that are going to be opposite of whatever is going to go, it's like a spiral. Everything goes like sort of like in a spiral with time and trends and stuff. It's not going to be the exact same thing. It's going to have like a twist on it, but it will eventually repeat, just like we were talking about earlier. These things, but it'll have like a twist, just for like the new age tribal stuff. So the thing will change, and that's where it is. But those things had to come from an idea, from within, from an attitude, from an emotion, from the person within. And I think a lot of people are relying way too much on other things, and that's just really giving up your true power of who you are, and the real wonder of your existence will not be to what it could be based on some of those things. So when I talk to clients, it's like the tattoos, especially, they're almost like a ritual. They're like an energy exchange. They're like giving me traumas, or not their traumas, but they want to get rid of their trauma. So I'm trying to transmute that through like a alchemical process to turn, something that's good, that's going to make them have transformation. But at a point, I didn't see it like that. I just saw it as like, okay, well, I can make some money. I can do whatever you want. Just give it to me. I can make the money.
Right.
Cool, no problem. Whatever. Fuck it. Whatever, dude. Shut up. Meat don't talk. Just sit there and shut the fuck up. You know?
Right.
But now I'm all like, shit, I get it. I understand what you've been through. I know what that soft, sensitive thing inside of all of us is that has been there. I know it's gentle.
Pull that close.
So I want to try to, I'm not no fucking holier than thou type, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be like that kind of shit. But like when it comes to that aspect, I do want to nurture that aspect a little bit more and like have more of a thing, because it's an energy exchange and the current. It has to go right. The whole thing, like we're operating on different realms of existence. We only see like 0.03% of the visual spectrum. Like there's so much more
Sure.
that we can't see. So what really exists and what really matters is how people feel. It's the only thing. That's the only thing they're going to take with to the grave, is how you made them feel.
Well, and
when
not
you do a
only-
tattoo, they're going to remember that forever.
Well, and not
And
only
I ignored it
not only
for
that,
many years.
not only that, but you guys are also kind of real estate agents,
As well,
because
yeah,
there's
for
only
sure.
so much
space,
property.
yeah. Or you got to
especially
remove it.
visible
Yeah,
property.
Yeah.
So
That
there's
as well, yeah.
valuable real
Yeah,
estate.
yeah.
If I'm going to
Yeah.
entrust you with this and this, that is way more than entrusting you with this that I can cover up every day for the rest of my life with any version of a t-shirt. Do you know how hard it is to show the side of my ribs in public? Like, I got to go full shirtless. There's so many tank tops and other things I can do to cover up your shitty tattoo. This is not valuable real estate. It may seem like valuable real estate, but it's not here on the side of my ribs. But when we start getting towards my hands, my forearms,
Here's the
my
irony.
biceps, anytime I want to be shirtless, that's what people see. And they will judge you. They will judge you. I definitely judge people based on their tattoos.
For sure, especially if they suck.
If I see somebody who already, like me, looks like an asshole, and then he also has a bunch of asshole tattoos, guess what? That's an asshole. Like, I can't get out of asshole. Before I've even spoken a word to you, you look like an asshole, and you have a bunch of asshole tattoos. You're an asshole. first impressions are worth 1,000 words. You got to do like 10,000 to overcome those two asshole monuments before we even speak. So again, this is why people like me are hesitant to get tattoos. It's not because we're against them. It's just like, man, and then to get it finished, I gotta trust that you're gonna like not be a fucking heroin addict and fucking go junkie on me and not be able to finish that tattoo or suddenly like double charge me later. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be like a stable, trustworthy like guy that I know when we commit to a $4,000 tattoo over how many sessions would you call that?
One day for me sometimes.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so a $40,000 tattoo. You know how?
Yeah, sometimes backs and arms. That's what that costs.
Yeah, I mean, whatever
legit.
it is.
Yeah, if you want 2 arms in your back, you're looking probably around 40 grand, probably 60. You want both your legs, probably 40,
And how
80
many
grand.
sessions is that? At 6 hours apiece.
Maybe like anywhere from 6 to 10 sessions, depending on how detailed.
Okay,
color
and
or
depending
whatnot.
on the person's pain threshold and healing
that as well.
tolerances,
Depends
right?
on
This
they
could
want
take
it,
a year, 2 years.
I
right?
try to get it done as quick as possible, but yeah,
Sure,
for sure.
but-
Just a lack of interest into this shit.
right.
I don't want to fucking artistically evolve and have to sit there and go back to that old way of thinking.
Wow,
You know what I mean?
I never even thought about
hard.
that. No, I never even thought about that. No,
know.
that never even crossed my mind. That's how naive I am. That never
yeah.
even crossed my mind, dude. no, that's how fucking stupid I am when it comes to this world.
No, yeah. It's cool.
But yeah, I'm thinking, okay, it's 40 grand, 6 hours a piece. Fucking, that might take, depending on pain threshold, healing capabilities. You might have to wait till something sets in before you come in and
exactly. You
do
already
some
know.
shit. I don't know. I'm just making this up. I have no idea what I'm talking about, dude.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm just considering. I'm trying to do the Dunning-Kruger thing where I go, I know this little, so obviously I know this little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to go, okay, that means there must be 100x more than what I could possibly imagine. So I just kind of make shit up in these examples. So if I happen to strike a nail where you're like, yeah, that's true, then I got lucky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, because I don't know shit.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, if you're doing these mega pieces, this might take weeks or months or even a year or two, depending on when this person is able or willing to come back in and go through this insane process.
Yeah.
That's gotta be, man, that is. Do you take like all the money up front to do those things? Do you take like half down?
I do it daily whenever I'm at the end of the day. I think that's fair. I get paid for what I do. But
Okay.
I used to do the half down thing just because a lot of flaky people, waste my time. So it's like,
Right,
if you're
that's what I'm
serious,
kinda
then I
getting
want
at.
I want that. But nowadays, it's like people want it because they can show it off. It's like the topic of the thing. It's the new them. That's what they want. They want to be seen. They want to do it. And most of them, and like we were saying with the arms and stuff, yeah, it's prime real estate. But the irony of it is like people that want this arm, that's the driver arm. Like they're driving all the time. It's getting beat up by sun. That skin sucks.
Right.
It's going to get tan. It's not
For
going to
me-
heal the same.
For me, here's the irony, okay? For me, this is the arm that matters, because as a guitar player and as a drummer,
Yeah.
this is the one that faces the world,
Yeah. For sure.
right? So
Yeah,
fuck
definitely.
this arm.
Yeah, for sure. I
And
agree.
I'm
yeah.
right-handed,
100%.
so part of my mural,
Yeah.
part of my mural and part of my arm piece is I want an olive branch to come all the way down to the tip of my finger, right? So when I shake somebody's hand, it's a literal extension of the olive branch, right? So when I shake your hand, it means something. Like, I have a whole dumb cliche biblical thing I want to do, but to me it matters, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah,
and
of
and
course,
that's the thing.
yeah.
Like, it's literally like the whole thing. It's gonna like start really strong up here, and then as the whole thing, it's just gonna eventually just the end of it is just a branch with a couple leaves, and then the tip of the branch at the end of that fingertip. So when I shake somebody's hand, I'm literally extending the olive branch. But I've never found somebody that I can afford and have time for and has the talent and like the style, and like
For sure.
can do everything I want, because up here there's like faces and bodies and like. So I'll tell you what it is. It's kind of gay, but it's kind of cool at the same time. So there's this scene in the Bible of Michael stabbing Lucifer through the heart, right? And all the paintings are kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
I want a version of it of Michael just fucking like dropping a full on axe, just like, goosh, just badass, just fucking, and then that's gonna fade into a whole ass story that extends down into that everything just goes down to this tip of this branch. You know what I mean? Pretty gay, and that Michael scene might have to get moved over to a chess piece in order to get the whole story told. But again, this is what I mean. Like I haven't found ever, still to this day.
It's a lot of work.
And I
man.
know a bunch of great tattoo artists too, and they're really good at several things. But I'm like, so I keep flirting with this idea. I might need like 2 or 3, and that's why I've never pulled the trigger. I'm like, well, 2 or 3 doing this thing, that never works. I watch tattoo shows. Those never end well. Like you need one artist to do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I just haven't found that person at a price I can afford.
Yeah, I don't yeah, I don't blame you. I feel it. Like it's cool. I don't even like view it. Like to me, I don't even really get tattooed that much anymore. I'm not even really into it.
Do you even
Like,
have any real estate left?
I got plenty of space to do. I lasered my whole arms and went and got re-tattooed and shit by like people all around the world that I learned from. But nowadays, man, like I just chill, man. I'd rather like go like work on some land, go fucking build some shit, and do like that kind of stuff. I'm not really into like the whole tattoo scene. I just do my thing. I work alone for the most part.
That's super cool. When did you get that lucky? When did you get to turn that corner and just do your thing?
Well,
versus
during
pursuing
COVID, actually.
Really?
Yeah, because everyone the place that I was at was an Indian restaurant. They lost their buffet line, so I was able to take that section of it. And at the time, they were just giving it to anyone. And at the time, I didn't fucking.
What do you mean that section? Like
it was like
there's
this
literal real estate.
Yeah, the real estate where it is. It's just the back end of this place. But
And
like
they
I
need to
redid
rent
it,
it
yeah,
out.
and they needed to do it, so they closed it off and got
And
rid of
you're
it. Yeah, and so I was able to.
You're able to sanitize, and you're able to do one-on-one COVID bullshit with masks.
Yeah, all that bullshit. But when I got into it, all that stopped. Right when I got in, it just stopped. Like there was nothing was enforced. Like they made me buy like all these little things and put the stickers and label and shit, but like nothing like just so I could pass inspection, you know?
But that's what I'm talking about.
But other than that, like they didn't enforce me to do the mask and the whole thing like that. But I was like, because at the time I lived in Atlanta, I was living in Norway, and I had a place in Minneapolis. So I was like back and forth between all 3 of these places at the same time.
So you're not even from. How the fuck did you end up in Minneapolis, by the way?
My mom was from here, dude. I came to middle school out here for like a year, got expelled, and I fucking just went back to fucking Florida and came back up here because it's cold, man. It feels good on my joints sometimes, and it's like fucking like sometimes when it gets like really cold, it sucks. But like all the fucking like rain and shit, you know what I mean? When it's not dry.
Stay on the mic.
Oh yeah, when it's not like dry and it's like really too humid, and it like fucking down south, man, my joints get really fucked up, man. I don't like that. Like when it's like super humid. So like during the summer, it sort of sucks. So I've always was like trying to like follow the cold, cause like I fucked my like knee and my wrist up, man, like many years ago. That's the only reason why I wear a watch, so it like stops clicking, so I don't hear the sound of it click anymore.
I got a couple of them clicks. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, man, they're fucking annoying. So
I'm looking at what is it? BPC 157.
I heard about that shit the other day on my advertisement on like fucking Instagram or something.
I've been looking at this for about a year.
Have you took any?
No, not yet, but I know a couple dudes on peptides. Will, look this up. BPC 157. I think that's correct. It's a peptide. It's healing. It basically just helps you heal.
Okay.
Like it is. I think that's right. BPC 157. Yeah, it's a peptide. Yeah. Yeah, and I know a couple guys on this shit. And yeah, I've heard Joe Rogan talk about it, but I know a couple guys personally that are doing peptides, and they're like, dude, it's legit, dude. It works so well, man. It just basically just literally makes your body heal.
Yeah, I don't know. I got like some really bad muscle alignments.
Here's why
right
I'm
now.
interested in it. The second one right there, the gastrointestinal protection. It may help protect stomach lining from ulcers and other gastrointestinal damage. That's how it popped up in my world.
Mm.
But there's guys that do it for just working out. Take peptides, helps your muscles heal.
I buy all
You know?
sorts of shit, so that's why it popped up in my shit. They're all like, this motherfucking sucker. Show him anything and put a fucking frequency in a thing, he'll buy it.
No, but the peptides thing is legit, and the BPC 157 seems to be the most legit. That's the thing I've heard from the most amount of credible people in the world on all these issues. It came into my world because of the GI shit I deal with. But yeah, man, it seems good. It probably would help people heal from tattoos. That's how legit it seems.
Yeah, I have no idea about any of that kind of shit, man.
So what's the proper, if you get a tattoo, what's the proper post care, by the way? Let's just set the record straight. I don't think I asked what's his name when he was on the podcast.
I don't know.
Do you wrap it in fucking saran wrap or not?
You can and you can't. It depends. Like,
Okay,
so it depends. So
this is what we need to know.
over periods of time, the saran wrap was like hated against, and then it became popular again, and then it's, in my opinion, hated again. I don't know. So like in my personal opinion, I remember these people telling me like, when in doubt, let it dry out, and then that whole time I was like, all right, well, that was how I went. And then when I went to Europe, they just wrapped me up with saran wrap and sent me off. And I was like, what the fuck? This is like completely different than what I was doing, like putting like stuff in it. So I tried doing that, and it just didn't seem to like work too well, you know? So I think personally nowadays, like, you could use those Sanoderms and those stickers and those second skins, but they fill up with blood depending on how and who did it.
And how deep.
Yeah, and all that shit. And it will just tear it up. It's a mushy fucking mess. And then
You need oxygen to heal.
yeah,
things.
exactly. So I think the diaper pad method that absorbs it, and it's like a dog piss pad basically, those
But
and
still
changing it out,
allows
yeah,
oxygen to get
loosely
in there.
just wrap it just so it absorbs all the bullshit, and then wipe the plasma off every 6
Change it
hours.
often?
Yeah, just every 6 hours, wipe the
Fucking
plasma
knew it.
off.
I fucking knew it, dude. I fucking
Yeah,
knew it, dude.
man.
I'm not listening to people anymore. I'm just trusting my instincts from now.
That's the thing, is you got to go with the flow with when it goes with that. You can't fight against that instinctual
fucking
thing.
change it. Get it oxygen,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah,
Absorb
yeah,
any
exactly.
fucking pus or moisture.
And I've
fucking
told people
clean
the opposite. So
Soap and water's
I've done
good.
it both. I
Soap
get it.
and water's
I feel
good,
it.
right?
Yeah,
Soap and
yeah,
water,
of course, yeah, of
keep it
course,
clean.
yeah,
Yeah,
man.
fucking-
Fuck Dawn dish soap, I don't care, whatever. Just like no Old Spice bullshit.
Just
'Cause
keep
that
it
shit's
clean,
whack.
man.
Yeah, clean every 6 hours. Let it die. When in doubt, let it dry out. Let it air dry. Clean off the plasma. The plasma and the wet spots are what causes boogers. That's what causes plasma or itches and scabs. And then the scabs fucking flake and pull out spots. So if you can wipe it off and avoid that, you should have no issue. Granted, everyone who was doing it was doing everything it perfectly executed well, because obviously you can overwork some areas depending on how thin the skin is or what, or how many layers and colors. There's so many fucking variables to it that it's almost like, if you don't do this shit, like, don't waste your time. Like it's too sucks because it's on too many people, and that's what's annoying, is that it's on people. So there's too many variables. Like, they might want to go out that night, and I've done people where they're in town for a couple of days. They see me off of Ink Magazine TV thing or whatever, and then they come in, they fly in from someplace else, and then they go out that same night to the club. I'm tattooing their leg, and then they come back and like their whole leg's like completely swollen because they were drinking, walking around on it and shit. It's like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? You know, and I'm tattooing back on it, and it's like a puffy ass, like,
You know, I don't
a
think about
trampoline,
that,
so-
but the moment you explain it, it seems super obvious.
yeah,
Like,
right.
dude,
And that's the thing.
like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
you got a tattoo. Then
Yeah.
you went and drank a bunch of booze
Yeah.
and walked on your leg all night. What do you think's gonna happen? Your leg's probably gonna swell up, and
Yeah.
your tattoo's probably gonna look like shit.
Yeah.
And then it's
For
probably
sure.
not gonna heal very well because you poisoned yourself the night of your tattoo.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. There's a lot of variables, but like tattoo conventions, people have been drinking from there for years, and shit works, man. But the thing is, we're all gonna die and decay. It's all gonna look like shit. Everything fades. All banners, all everything, all neon burns out.
Right.
Everything does.
That's a
It's
great
just
point.
temporary, man. Just
And the
enjoy
brightest
fucking
flames
ride.
do burn quickest. So
Yeah, like, other than that, enjoy it. It's better to be with ease without all the stuff. But that's where it gets down to what I forgot to mention is within the world that there's a logical brain and then there's a creative brain, and everything is within a duality. There's the masculine and female, not like, you know, it's just those intersected things when like you got logic and reasoning, and then you got creative and flow, very linear way, and then this, and there's two different things, and they use different hemispheres, so it's like
right.
and so that's the thing, is like,
And the harmony is the perfect balance
Yeah.
between the two.
and then learning how to do it,
and
some
when
people
which
are
one takes
naturally-
over
yeah.
for the other.
So this where it
Yes,
becomes like different types of
yes.
like meditative practices, notices, awareness, self-awareness, and understanding the elements as well, of like your oxygen, how like your temperature levels, the spiciness of food you're eating, your
Right.
water level, the hydration, because
all
that's
about
what
balance.
yeah, it's
Yes.
balance, exactly. Everything
Exactly,
needs
yes.
referred back to balance, but whenever there's perfect balance, the flow just goes.
Correct.
Then there is nothing. Obviously, to the norm, whoa, what the fuck? But to the universal flow of the way everything works harmoniously, it's going to work whether you like it or not.
And this specifically makes the most sense when we're talking about creativity.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, for sure. 100%. Because this is where creativity comes from. This is where all the great wonders of everything's come from within. Someone had to think of it. Well, those thoughts could have been planted, but you have to get down into that deeper shell variant of a deeper way of thinking, to where that rational brain shuts the fuck up, and so does the other one, and we're in the realm of subconscious and into that deeper stuff, and that's where it gets really weird and confusing, but that's where the magic really lies. And I think a lot of people want to see Instagram inspiration on Instagram, inspiration on SoundCloud, inspiration on Pinterest. Just close your eyes, go take a shower, sit in that motherfucker for 15 minutes, and sit down and close your eyes and don't move. Put a timer on your phone and see how much inspiration you're going to get.
Right.
Just don't even force it. Just let it come, and every thought that comes, shoot away.
The boredom.
Yeah. And that's the thing. When I was locked up, I realized I had the most amount of imagination. Completely sober in a
Correct.
room with nothing. I was like, all the thoughts, everything. Where is it coming from?
Boredom. And I think that's what meditation really is.
Yeah, silencing, stillness. Be
It's-
still and know that I'm God. That's what it says.
Because when you really study it, when you really listen to them and what they describe, what you're trying to do, you're not trying to tune out the birds or the traffic. You're trying to just calm your mind
And not judge
and
it.
allow
And not label
all
it.
these things to happen.
Yeah, allow it. Yeah, for what it is.
And just be there and allow your mind to go into its own version of boredom. This is why shower thoughts,
5-6 a day.
dude,
all day.
when you take a shower and you don't put on a podcast, this is why if you take a shit without your phone, you'll have some of your best ideas. If you're a musician, suddenly you'll come up with a great transition. You'll be like, oh, fuck. I know how to get out of this bridge and get into that chorus. We just got to move a half a step up. We're just going to key change it. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. It's been there the whole time right in front of us. But you've been on your phone the whole time. You've been listening to podcasts the whole time. So when you take a shower, when you take a shit, this is the Western world. You have moments, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half hour, however long you do these things. If you don't play media and you just allow your mind to become meditative, which is you're doing something you don't need to think about, breathing, sitting, washing your hair,
Washing the dishes.
scrubbing your
anything.
balls, washing the dishes,
Yeah, clean.
mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
These are things you don't think about, you just do.
Yeah.
And as long as you don't pump in some sort of stimulation, a podcast.
Cheap dopamine.
I'm guilty of this, you guys. I'm so guilty of this.
Same.
I always pump in the podcast.
Easy.
That's why I'm so well informed on so many random issues. I pump in data. Any moment I'm doing something, I'm pumping in data. It's also why I've lost so much creativity. It's why I haven't written a good song in 5 fucking years. You know what I mean? Because I'm too
System
consumed.
overload.
Yeah. I know exactly how to write a good record. Guess what's going to happen? I'm going to take a week or two off. I'm going to either go to a cabin or I'm going to go to a tropical island. I'm going to have a guitar and 0 cell phone coverage. You know what I mean? And I will write banger music again. It'll take me a couple weeks, but I'll get there and I'll come out with a whole ass album.
Yeah, for sure.
But this world I am in with the podcasting and the researching and reading and listening, I'm not in I can't, because I'm never bored. I'm borderline overstimulated.
Yeah.
It becomes dangerous.
It is.
It
It
becomes
is for all of
dangerous.
us.
It
Yeah,
becomes
you don't know-
dangerous to creativity.
You lose awareness of it, and it can go months and years, and you lose yourself. You lose your identity, and then you'll start to second guess and feel imposter syndrome based on it, because you'll feel a guilt towards it, and those are based on those emotions. I just went through this whole process for like 2 years. Really bad, dude. I almost like would have did anything, burned down the studio, whatever, got rid of it out of my life. Wanted nothing to do with it. Didn't want to look at tattooing. I want to just go out in the woods and just go fish or something. Nothing to do with any of this shit.
Just go fish.
Yeah.
Bro.
I
You
don't
like
wanna-
fishing?
Yeah, I like fishing. I like doing anything, dude.
Bro.
I just like to
You
chill.
want to go fishing sometime?
Always down to go.
I'll go fishing with you.
Yeah, cool.
No, for real. I
Yeah.
know some dope spots,
Yeah.
northern Minnesota, like some.
Yeah.
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 I'll go with you,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Let's go fishing, dude.
Yeah, I'm down. Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I'm into whatever, man.
You like real camping or you like glamping?
I like both.
Me too. Me too.
I like both.
I can literally do
honest
both.
with you.
I'll
I'll do
glamp. I'll
both.
glamp with you, but I will also real camp.
Oh, I'll real camp too.
I'll real
Yeah.
camp, dude,
Yeah,
if
of
you
course,
want to.
man. I've just spent a lot of times of my life like when it was like low, like sleeping under bridges and shit. So like, yeah, man.
You're a real survivor.
Oh, yeah, I'm a survivor. But
No,
yeah.
no. There's survivalists, and
Yeah.
then there's real survivors.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit different.
Survivalists
Yeah,
are preppers,
yeah,
right? They
yeah.
do all the practice routines. Cool, cute. I
Yeah,
get it.
yeah.
And then there's real survivors, which have like actually. I've been there. That's why I'm saying this with such conviction. No, motherfucker. Like, I had literally nothing, and I had to get through the night in the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
When you do that, then we can talk about survivalist shit.
Yeah.
Because when you know you're going out in the middle of the woods and you have a week to set up, oh, the cold is setting in. Like, cool, I get it. When you get thrown out and you're like, I got to get through tonight, that's a different set of survivals.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Like, it's, yeah, dude. Yeah, it'll be fun, dude. We can glamp or we can for real. Like, I got a couple buddies that like we can like hike out, set up camp, bring nothing except maybe like a bag of rice and some meat or some backup protein, just in case. But we can either do that or we can just glamp. We'll find a fucking.
I'm down for whatever.
We'll find
man.
the side of a lake.
I'm an experience chaser. I
You know
just
what I
in
mean?
it for the experience, man.
My favorite thing is the hammock vibe, dude.
Yeah, that's nice.
Dude, you set up the hammock in between two trees.
Yeah. I like doing that. I love.
You got the fucking rain thing over the top of you, dude.
Yeah, I love tripping like on like a little bit of hallucinating, not like super like in-depth journey, but just enough to see the trees wave and stuff, and like laying down in the hammock and seeing it arch. It's almost like cathedral.
Yeah.
And how they arch over
Yeah.
and they dome. It's like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's so fucking cool. It's like stained glass when the sun beams through it, and it's just mosaic.
And there's something
Fucking
about
gorgeous.
cooking food outside
I love that. Yeah.
when that happens too, and you're just back out there, and you just like it. For me, it made me realize two things: I don't need technology at all. But
yeah.
God damn, do I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
It makes things so comfortable. When the bugs get to be a little much, and I can just throw on the thermocell, and like, you know what I mean? We learned a trick. This is a little secret for campers. Bring a bunch of water jugs. You don't fill them up with anything. Just bring them, empty water jugs, and then fill them up with water in some sort of water supply once you get there, and plant them 100 feet away from your camp, as many as you can, and then put some sort of light underneath them, and it will diffuse the light and create a fucking beacon. All the bugs will go to them. All of them will go to them. And you just surround yourself with these, like about 100 feet away from you in every direction.
That's cool.
And the amount of bugs that, and dude, it gets so crazy, like the light gets dimmed.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
bro, they go
Yeah,
for it
for sure.
hard,
Yeah.
dude. Like, yeah, one of the sneakiest, easiest things you can do for bug control, especially
smart.
if you don't have like real like repellent or any of that kind of
That's
shit.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the sneaky little things we found. But again, glamping, because you got to have enough lights.
For sure.
We had like a bunch of headlamps, and that's all we did is we just stuck them around the jug of water and just put them inward and just left them out there. And fuck, man, saved our asses, dude. I love fishing, dude. I love that kind of shit, dude. I love getting back with it because I grew up in that fucking world. I grew up in northern Minnesota. You know, moving to the city was something I did as a teenager.
Where at?
You know?
Up there.
So Cambridge, Stacy, all the way up to Cambridge, Stacy, North Branch, all the way up to Crosby, Lindstrom. Fucking,
Oh, yeah.
I moved all over that
Yeah.
whole area.
Yeah,
up
for
there,
sure.
through the Iron Range, back and forth, and puppy's getting needy again. Getting old. But dude, there's just something about getting, and that's what I keep talking to my wife about, because we keep talking about moving out of the city. It's like, I don't really want to move to the suburbs and be this close to my neighbors.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of course, it's
Like,
a waste
it's
of
the
time.
same
Yeah.
thing.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Just with
Yeah.
shittier
Yeah.
food.
Yeah, man.
And I'm
Yeah.
way farther from all the music venues. Like,
Yeah, it's the same shit.
they're just as
It's
close.
crazy. Yeah, it's the same. It's not. There's no difference.
And now we're the
It's
loud
crazy, but
people.
people expect it, or they accept it though. People accept it, and no one like it does anything about it, and people just continue to let this happen. I grew up in the sticks in Florida, man. So like, I'm used to being out in the woods and shit, and like I got some land up north and shit. So like for me, like that's my plan is get the fuck out of here. Once my lease with my shop's done, I'm out of here, dude. I'm not like people. If you know about me, you know about me. If you don't, you don't.
Dude, there's this
That's
chick. There's this chick, and I'm gonna make up the town.
Mhm.
I'm gonna say it's Farmington. It's
Okay.
not Farmington,
Yeah.
but it's some fucking podunk town in God knows fucking where, Minnesota. I only stumbled across her when I happened to be on TikTok for a short period of time to check it out. She's on your level of talent as a tattoo artist. And she completely survives by herself, no husband, no second income, no nothing,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, Minnesota, because she's so fucking good. People fly in and drive all the way up there to get tattoos by her. She's that fucking good. And I'm going to say it's Farmington. It's not Farmington, but I'm just, it's some fucking absolute nowhere Minnesota town that, and I get it. If you're from Minnesota, Farmington isn't an absolute nowhere town. I get it. But if you're not from Minnesota, Farmington, Minnesota sounds like an absolute fucking nowhere town. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Like, she's just that good. So you can totally do that, dude.
Yeah, anything's possible, man. Anything's possible.
How much land you trying to buy?
I already got some. I got enough.
You already have the land? You have enough land? Me and my wife have enough. We got 80 acres.
Yeah, that's
I just don't like the water supply.
Yeah,
Like I want a river
yeah.
or a lake. I got to figure out how to swap this land. I am like, I got to
Yeah.
get something.
I got a river right on the edge of it. Like it
Yeah.
almost corners a river. So it's like
That's what's
50
up,
feet,
dude.
100
That's
feet
what's
from
up.
it.
That's
Fucking
what's
river right there.
That's what's up, dude. Well, let's wrap this up, man. Let's show some photos. I want to show some of your artwork.
Yeah, it should be
Let's
on the
bring up your
Or
Instagram.
whatever. If someone can.
Pull up his Instagram, however you want to do it. You can do the Google thing. You can click the link, whatever you want to do, dude. But I want to show people what we've been talking about all night. Because, man, you're a really impressive cat, dude.
Oh, thanks, man.
And I wasn't sure how this was going to go, you know. Not meeting somebody before a podcast. Tina, you really got to cool it. We're almost done. It's not about you. It's not your podcast. But, dude, you got a lot of talent, man. I really respect you, dude, a lot, man.
I appreciate it. Yeah.
And it was really cool to hang out with you, dude, because you never know how these are going to go,
Oh, I'm
whether
sure.
we're going to vibe together.
Yeah.
You know, it's so hard, dude. But I watched your shit, and I was like, dude, I gotta meet this guy. I got to get to know him, dude. So thank you for coming on the podcast, dude. Let's
Yeah,
show
thanks
some
for
of your
having
shit
me.
on the way out.
Yeah, you can just like Instagram and then RuubenArt on Instagram. It should just pop up pretty Simple.
Yeah,
I
they're
think there was
new.
a leak.
These
Link
guys
that
are
I
new.
sent via email or whatever.
Yeah,
Cool.
they're getting it. They're
It's
just
cool. No rush. Oh yeah.
Yeah, just scroll down. Yeah, just slowly scroll. Yep. Yeah, just keep doing that very slowly. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like, so that right away, that middle one, the lips, impeccable.
Yeah.
The shadowing, the one thing I like in that middle one is that little white strip in the nose.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The highlight. Yeah. That's a always.
Just to distinct that and give it some shape in the shadow. I really appreciate that. Yeah, this middle one's really cool. Keep going down.
Yeah, the middle one was something new. I tried.
Actually, go up a little bit. Yeah, the one on the right there, that's similar to the one you have on your arm.
Yeah, it's similar. Yeah, the colors were the same color tones. Yeah.
Incredible.
Thanks.
Incredible, dude.
Yeah, that's 3 days.
Absolutely. The nose and the eye behind the nose feels very three-dimensional. Very incredible. Keep going down, dude. Are we sharing this to them? Can they see this? Okay, good. Oh, that's you doing that piece?
Yeah, that was 3 days in a row. Dude did a really
Oh,
good
do
job.
that. Go down and click on that one. That one. Yeah. Just hit X. Oh, it's not going to let us do it unless we log in. We should be
Lame.
logged in. We should be logged in.
Instagram's lame. But
Log in with
whatever.
Facebook. We should be locked in because of... Oh, fuck. Well, don't put this on the screen. Don't put this on the screen.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah, click that. Yep, do that. I don't know what that is. Never mind. Okay, we'll just keep going. Yeah, we'll just keep looking at it. So like, what does shit like this cost, dude?
It really depends, you know, on like how long. It really
Like that
depends.
one on the left, that sunset with the cactus and all that shit. Click on that one. Bring that one up full screen. Oh, we can't do that. Okay, so what does something like this cost? How many hours does this take?
It all depends. It's really hard to say exactly, but that one took probably about like 8 hours. It was on a scar. It was a little bit harder to do, but yeah, I don't know. I probably should have did it in 2 days, so it would have cost a little bit more. But he was sort of on a budget, so I tried to make it done a little bit quicker. And obviously, if I would have had a little bit more time, I would have been able to do more shit. But that's a lot of shit, man. Just staring at it for fucking hours, you know, and it's in one day without really ever taking a break. It's like you really want to, like, when painting, it's nice to just like walk away for a week and look at it later with some fresh new eyes. But I only get like 5 minutes to go fucking to the back, take a sip of some water, and come back. So I don't know, man.
And then you're dealing with like the inflammation and the
yeah,
swelling
everything,
while you're
yeah.
doing this. It's got to be so
Yeah.
hard to.
Yeah, it's a balancing act. That's why I was like, man, people who don't really do it, I mean, unless you really want to like get to it, but like it's just such a headache. And then on the outside of it after work, you're like trying to learn more about it, and then you're also got to learn how to market yourself. So it's the same thing as every other artist now, except for it just never fucking ends because it's also work.
But what you did here, like I can see, even though it's a 2D picture, I can see because of that fabric. You wrapped the arm.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah,
It's not just
yeah.
a dead cutoff.
Yeah, it's more open-ended on the edges, definitely, because it's like a lot of these people, I don't want to be too greedy. I leave it open so they can blend it into something else down the road, for sure. But yeah, I never leave like a border with skin, because that just isn't too impressive to me. I like the shit that like just is like, wow, you can see it from across the street, and it's like, oh shit, wow, what the fuck is that? Okay, weird, I still don't get it, but cool. But yeah, you know, something that's gonna, when they see it in person, it's more of like a conversation starter, and people love that shit, and I'm grateful for it. I love it. I'm really appreciate everyone that comes and gets a tattoo, especially people that let me do, like all these people. They said they didn't really care. They didn't show me no references. They just said do whatever the fuck you want, but this is my idea.
And then they just had a budget.
Yeah, and then I just if the budget isn't there, I'll be like, you just save it a little bit more, and then we can do it.
What is that tattoo? Is that a fucking $8,000 tattoo? Is that a $1,200 tattoo? Like same thing with the fucking the what is that
The Vendetta piece.
yeah, V for Vendetta, and
Yeah.
then even the one next to it,
So,
like
that's like a whole arm. These two are done in one day. This one is like a custom piece. Like you're never gonna be able to get that anywhere else because I came up with it in my head. You know, the whole concept of it. And like this piece, I mean, you could take your own photos and merge them together. You know, so it really depends on what they're set at a different rate because one, I know you can't go anywhere else to do it. It's just someone else could have went on Google and found an image of a desert and merged
okay,
it
and I'm
together.
not asking you to like give away the fucking ballpark, but even just a round ballpark number. Like, is that an $8,000 tattoo or a $1,500 tattoo? Any of them? Like, just like what are we looking at here? Like, how do people understand what they're investing in when they hire an artist at your skill level?
Okay, well then I would just probably say someone around like my thing. I say average, depending on who you know, where you're at, what you've done, and like what you've done in the industry and where you've been and all that.
No,
kind
if
of
they're
stuff.
hiring you.
Oh well, it depends. Anywhere. I mean, it depends. It really depends on how much freedom I get, whether you're cool or whether you're annoying. You know, and like that depends on everything. On how
I sound very annoying right now, trying to nail you down to a price.
So, but it is what it is, man. I got a lot of people watching. I don't really like to put my finances out there. I don't want to try to make it look too whatever. I can tell you what it would cost afterwards, but when it comes out there, it's up there with the big dudes. You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. That's what I do for a living. This is my life. This is what I put everything into it. I was doing half the shit before anyone locally around in this area for a few hundred miles was doing anything on this kind of like concept of this kind of shit. So,
have you ever considered running for office?
Offices and like, what do you mean? Like
Politics.
Like, oh fuck no. No.
Because the way you dodged that question is on the level of elite politicians, homie.
Yeah,
Because
man.
you refused to answer it, and you did a great job of not doing it.
Well, like
No,
I said,
I'm not going to nail you down, dude. I get it, man. I get it. I'm just trying to get a ballpark for people that are trying to get great art, and they're always trying to undercut it. Like, no. This is and I'm not saying this is. I'm not trying to get you to agree to these numbers. This is a $40,000 piece of art. There's no way you can get this for $4,000. Don't do that. That's an insulting place to start. Now, if it's a $40,000 piece of art, maybe we can figure out a way to get it down to $34,000 because we're talking about a reasonable difference. But if you're going into a situation expecting a $40,000 piece of art and you're spending $4,000, you're probably going to be disappointed. That's kind of what I'm getting at,
for sure. Yeah.
But if that's a $1,500 piece of art, then on the flip side, don't go into it thinking you're going to get that for $450.
Yeah.
That's kind of you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
So I'm not trying to get an exact number out of you, but kind of like where in the spectrum of things are we
definitely
looking
right.
at?
Like between like anywhere from like 1,500 to 5,000, 6,000. It all depends on the uniqueness of the thing, what it's on, how big. It all really depends, and that's per day and where it's at. Because if I got to go travel to New York and go tattoo, and I got to give these people
versus
30%,
when you can squeeze
20%.
it in,
Yeah,
sure.
it's like, man, it's a little bit different. I got to fly and then pay for hotels. It cost me $3,000 just to be there for a week. You know.
Right, obviously.
So,
those things become super obvious, but like if somebody came to Minneapolis and they're working with you and they're doing
the cooler
the thing,
your
like,
idea is and the more lenient you are and how it is and the less dictating people are, the better you're going to get plugged from any
the more
artist
flexible
in
and the more
anything.
flexible your
for
schedule
anyone.
is.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, of course.
So now we're kind of understanding the concept. So
that's
there is no absolute price unless you're an asshole and then somebody says I charge X amount per hour. That
For
means
sure,
they
yeah.
don't like you and this is what they're doing.
to a degree. I mean, it's easier for me. I just have a little form or just a little thing, and I just send them a price sheet, and you either like it or you don't. It's cool. Whatever. No big deal. I got my shit, you know?
Well, I got to say, man, if I ever get tattooed, you're definitely probably one of 3 people
I appreciate it, man. I'm going to...
that I would hit up and go, "Hey man, what do you think about this? Let's talk," you know.
Of
And I'm
course.
sure you do the little fucking print mock-up thing. And then I go, oh,
Like
yeah, I
designs,
like
yeah.
it.
That's
Makes
how
me
you
look,
get 'em.
makes me look like a superhero. Do you do like temporary tattoos?
No.
No, it's not even that far. It's just still the stencil,
Just
still
take
to
a
this day.
picture. Yeah. I just take a picture of the arm and design it digitally.
And then you just like,
Print it and put it stencil. Same way.
oh, so
Or
I can like pretend it's real.
No, it would be purple and you'd make a mess all over everything.
Oh, so no. What I'm saying is like, what I thought you were saying is you take a picture of,
Mhm.
and then you can like
Digitally put
transpose
it
it
on,
on there.
Yeah.
So I see it on my
Yeah.
arm, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, I look
Yeah,
like a
yeah,
superhero.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, you do
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
Oh
of
yeah.
course.
See, that's where AI is
Yeah.
dope right now.
But that's before AI, man. I just use regular Photoshop techniques to do that. That's just
And you
like
can
two
bend it
images layer. I don't even
even
have
a
to
little
bend
bit?
it, man. I just like hit alpha mask and it just does
no
it.
shit.
This is simple Photoshop shit that's been out since like the 90s. So
Well,
like,
I don't
this
know
is-
about
yeah, no,
fucking
for sure.
Photoshop,
Yeah,
oh boy.
it's easy. But once the AI kicks, then that's a whole different ballgame. But all the things that I do, man, when people see it, man, I tattoo like a caveman. I use the most simplest methods of everything. There's no nothing. Just oil painting techniques.
All right. Well, your link's in the description. Everybody can go see
Cool.
you at RuubenArt. Oh, my last question for you is:
Yeah.
so Ruuben Valdes, are you Spanish?
My dad was from Cuba.
Oh,
And
fucking see,
my,
I had to figure this out, dude.
And he came in.
Because I was like,
know.
white dude, white looking dude. I
Yeah.
said white look. This is what I said in my head: white looking dude. Because I look white too, but I'm not white. But I was like, white looking dude, totally Latino name. I'm like, he's either Spanish or his dad was like Mexican or Cuban. I even said Mexican or Cuban or like fucking Guatemalan or Venezuelan or something that came from there.
Yeah.
So your dad's Cuban.
Yep. Yeah. So they put me because of my last name a bunch of times, like especially in Minneapolis, Northeast Minneapolis, when I went to school there for like a few months. They
At
stuck
Edison?
me. No, just Northeast Middle School.
Oh, I went
Yeah.
to Northeast Middle School.
Really?
I went to Edison too, yeah.
They stuck me in fucking ESL classes because my last name. So I was like in classes with people who didn't speak any English, and I was like, I don't know what the fuck is going on here, guys. I was like, you guys got me fucked up. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'll sit here. But everybody like,
We'll save that.
fucking weird.
We'll save that for next time, dude. I'd love to have you back on again, dude. This has been a blast. Go check him out, RuubenArt, correct?
yeah, RuubenArt. Yeah.
With 2 U's. Did you do that on purpose, or is that how you were born?
Yeah, it's just it's easier. I can separate the mail. I know how you know me from, so if I
Nice.
can see it, just one little thing. Look at
Nice. RuubenArt with 2 U's at gmail.com?
Yeah, RuubenArtInfo@gmail.com or info@RuubenArt.com.
And then same thing on the social medias. If you're on Instagram,
Everything
it's just
RuubenArt.
RuubenArt. It's just like me, Jared Singer Live. Everything's Jared Singer Live. Smart guy, knows how to do marketing. Huge marketer, great marketer, knows everything. Great job. Love you guys. Like, subscribe, help us get over 500 so we can get these producers paid, man. Seriously, appreciate you guys. RuubenArt, Jared Singer Live. Hit us up. Oh, by the way, one last plug. July 19th, I'm playing drums with the Montoya Machine, Amsterdam Bar with Via, the Modern Era, the Failsafe. I don't know the cover. I'm pretty sure it's 21 plus. I don't know what time the show starts, but that's their fault because they didn't put it on the flyer. Get us out of here.